Golden Radio Hour.
Columbia brings you Romance.
My name is Romance. Forever young, forever yours. I live in the tender love stories of today and in the moving love stories of the past. I speak to the lover in all of you, signing myself from the heart. Tonight I bring you one of the great romances of history, the love story of Lady Hamilton, starring Miss Madeline Carroll, with Peter Donald as Lord Nelson. As our story opens, Lady Hamilton is standing in an Italian drawing room, but in her secret heart, she's back home in London town, listening to the changing of the guard.
Old guard, present, arms.
New guard, present, arms.
Old guard, slope, arms.
New guard, slow, arms.
It's high noon in London. They must be changing the guard at Buckingham Palace. Oh, William, sometimes I miss London.
Of course you do, my dear. We must try and get home for a visit soon.
It will be fun going back as the wife of Britain's ambassador to Italy. Much more fun than just being plain Emma Hart.
I wonder. I really wonder.
Oh, but of course it will.
Let me see how Romney's coming with your portrait. I meant to come in and watch for a while, but some British ships were coming into port, and I wanted to be ready for them. Oh, yes, it's very lovely. Very lovely indeed.
Romney is a very fine painter, isn't he?
Yes, he is, poor devil.
Why do you say that?
The chap is obviously in love with you. Look at this portrait.
Oh, William.
Only a man in love with you could paint that expression. Only a man in love with you would paint you so incredibly lovely.
Am I not as lovely as that?
My dear Emma, no woman could be. I wonder if you realize what George Romney has done for you. One of England's finest painters has made you immortal.
William, I do miss England so much. Do you think we can go soon?
I hope so. But we'll see, Emma. Come.
Captain Nelson of His Majesty's flagship is here, Sir William.
Show him in, please. You'll excuse us, my dear, won't you?
Of course, William.
Captain Nelson, at your service, sir.
Lady Hamilton, may I present Captain Nelson of His Majesty's flagship?
Lady Hamilton.
Captain Nelson, we have heard something of your conquests, Captain Nelson. We are very proud to have you here.
And I have heard much of your conquest, Lady Hamilton, and am honored to be here.
You are very gallant, Captain Nelson. Will you excuse me, please? Oh, Captain Nelson, shall we have the pleasure of your company at dinner?
I shall be honored, Lady Hamilton.
Excuse me a moment, William.
Certainly, my dear.
Why did you leave us? Were you not enjoying the party, Captain Nelson?
I'm not very good at parties. Perhaps I've outgrown them.
I'm sorry. I planned this one especially for you.
Well, that was very kind, but quite unnecessary.
Captain Nelson, you don't like me, do you?
Not especially. I'm not partial to beautiful women. I found them arrogant and selfish and spoiled.
I see.
Oh, I've offended you. I apologize.
Not at all. You have a very strange conception of women, Captain Nelson.
I have very little understanding of women. I'm a sailor, not a courtier.
I knew a man once who had no use for women. I married him.
Do you love him?
That's a rather impertinent question.
We are dealing in impertinencies tonight, Lady Hamilton.
Then I shall answer it honestly, Lord Nelson.
Yes?
In all my life, I've met only one man that I could love, Captain Nelson.
And that man?
Yourself. Good night, Captain Nelson. Those were the circumstances of my first meeting with Captain Nelson. 5 years were to pass before we met again. 5 years of brilliant victories for him.
What should I signal the ships?
Signal the ships that England expects every man to do his duty.
Fight on, I tell you! Fight on!
Almighty God, having blessed His Majesty's arms with victory, listen to our prayer of humble thanksgiving. We lift our hearts today in great...
I tell you, Nelson's the greatest seaman England has ever known. He's the greatest admiral in history.
He has Napoleon right where we want him. He's intercepted every message going to France.
You will convey to Admiral Nelson their Majesty's grateful thanks for his valor and his glorious victories.
My dear Lady Hamilton, I am writing to tell you that we are sailing once more for Naples. You will soon be able to see the wreck of Horatio Nelson. May it count for a kindly judgment if scars are marks of honor. I find myself strangely anxious to see you again.
And so he came back. He was ill from wounds and shock. We nursed him back to health. I nursed him. Good morning, Admiral Nelson.
Oh, good morning.
Here, let me help you sit up. There. How do you feel?
Well, my head hurts a little.
It will feel better after you've had your powder.
Tell me, is there news from London?
Oh, yes. A whole packet of letters came this morning. You've been made a baron by their majesties, and there are all manner of gifts. Everyone is talking about you. Everyone in the world. They are saying there has never been a victory like the victory of the Nile.
And how do you feel, Lady Hamilton?
We are honored to have you as a guest, Admiral Nelson.
Poor guest, I'm afraid. I didn't mean to return as an invalid.
How proud your wife must be. You have a letter from her this morning, too.
Lady Hamilton, when last we met, I've been thinking about what you said. You were jesting, weren't you?
Why, yes, of course. You knew that. Didn't you, Admiral Nelson?
Lady Hamilton, I think you are a witch.
Law, Admiral Nelson. How clever of you to find me out.
Where are you going, Emma?
Admiral Nelson is in the garden, William. I'm taking him this robe. The night air is cold.
Very well. I'll be in the library, my dear.
Yes, William.
Oh, I was wondering when you were coming.
How do you know I would come?
Well, I hoped you would. Sit here where I can look at you.
If you like.
What are you thinking at this exact moment?
I was thinking that it was spring in England, and the guards would be walking up and down in front of Buckingham Palace in their scarlet coats. I was thinking that soon you will be back in England and that I shall never see you again.
Emma, look at me. If you were not Lady Hamilton, if this were any garden and we were two people without ties, what would you say to me, Emma?
You have no right to ask me that.
You have no right not to answer. Tell me, Emma.
I would say, don't leave me. Don't ever leave me. For when you go, all that I know and love goes with you.
Oh, my darling.
Why did you ask me? Why did I answer? Now it can never be unsaid.
It was never meant to be unsaid. My heart was completely yours from the first moment, and will be until the last moment, and beyond that.
We have no right to say these things. We have no right to think them.
Once I thought a man could rule his life and his destiny, could say to his heart, love this woman. That's why I married. It was never right. I never could believe in it or make it right.
You won't believe in this either tomorrow. It's the moonlight and the stars. It isn't real.
It's more real than anything we've ever known. forever will know.
Horatio, we are not two ordinary people. You are England's hero.
Is the blood of a hero cooler than any other man's? I love you, Emma. I'd cut my way around the world to marry you. I've been sleeping, and you've awakened me. I'll never lose you now.
Oh, no, it's wrong, I tell you. We're mad to talk like this.
All right, Emma. Then leave me. Go into the house. I will not follow you. I will never speak of this to you again. Go on, Emma.
I cannot. I cannot. God help us both. I cannot. William, there is something I must confess to you. Oh, William,
You'll spare us both the pain of confession, my dear. You wear your heart on your sleeve these days.
You know, then?
Yes, I know.
Oh, William, don't sit there looking at me like that. I'm a thief. I've taken your nations and betrayed you. That's what you're thinking, isn't it? Isn't it?
No, not at all. I was thinking of you, my poor little Emma. Poor little Emma who sold her heart and cannot buy it back.
William, believe me. I've loved you with all my heart. I still do. But it isn't the same. It isn't... Oh, I can't explain.
I understand. I am old, and you're young and beautiful. This is your first love. You are my last. There are many years between us. Admiral Nelson is handsome, dashing, and a hero. You make a better couple.
I despise myself for hurting you this way. William, I didn't know I was falling in love. I couldn't tell you now what hour it happened. I only know that one day, there it was between us.
What do you want, Emma? What will make you happy?
I want a divorce.
And he is to get one, too?
Yes.
Then let him put his own affairs in order. The day he wins his divorce, you shall have yours. You have my word, Emma. You have my word.
It's as clear as though it were yesterday. William was recalled to London, and we all went back together. It was spring, and the palace guards were in their bright red coats, and I was in love, and all was as I dreamed it should be long ago when I was very young. But London was not kind to us. From taverns to boudoirs, from Parliament to drawing rooms, the whispers winged their way.
Have you heard about Lady Hamilton and Lord Nelson? Well, my dear, it's the talk of every serving man in the country. They say that she and Lord Nelson are seen everywhere together. The whole country is gossiping about them. They ride in the park every morning. They went dancing last night in Piccadilly. Have you heard?
Did you know?
They say they went... I saw them.
He's most scandalous. Much you can see in him.
What he can see in a woman of her reputation.
They're talking about us.
Do you mind?
Do you?
I'm proud that they are. I'm proud that you love me and want the whole world to know it.
There is no world but our world.
It's easy to believe that here in the park.
Someday soon I shall have my divorce. We'll pick a home in Devon County, and I shall say to the Admiralty, leave me in peace now. I've given you enough of my years.
And I will make tea every afternoon for all the Devon ladies. And in the evening, we will sit beside a great fire.
And do you suppose anyone would be surprised if I kissed you?
Not in the least.
Darling, I love you very much.
Listen. It's the changing of the guard. Oh, let's stop and listen.
Right.
Old guard, present arms.
New guard, present arms.
Old guard, slope arms.
New guard, slope arms.
You know, when I was a little girl, I used to stand here and watch the changing of the guard. It always made me cry. I never knew why.
I'll tell you why. There's your centuries for you. There's your England. Elizabeth could be in that castle, or Henry, or George of Hanover, or some George yet to come.
Let's come every day we can, even when we're very old. Darling, look what time it is. You're going to be late to Parliament.
Oh, right you are.
It's a good thing I'm practically home. Parliament is rather cross with us anyhow.
Well, I'll tell them I had to ride in the park with you.
I dare you.
Take it.
Horatio,
Hmm?
have you talked to Lady Nelson?
Oh, yes. I saw her last night. I have to talk further with her about the divorce.
Oh, I see.
Oh, it'll be all right now, darling. Don't worry. Yeah.
Don't get out. You're late enough.
I'll pick you up for dinner about 7.
All right. Goodbye, darling. Tell Parliament I sent my love.
I'll do that.
Good morning, Lady Hamilton.
Good morning, Hobbs. It's a wonderful morning, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Mum. There's a lady waiting to see you, Mum, in the morning room. She wouldn't give her name.
A lady?
I never saw the lady before. I don't know who she is, Mum.
Never mind, Hobbs. I know who the lady is. Lady Nelson?
Yes, Lady Hamilton.
Won't you sit down? Perhaps you'd care for tea.
Thank you. I don't think I'll be staying long enough for tea.
As you like. You'll find that corner chair the most comfortable, I believe.
I wanted to see you. I heard you were a beauty. You are.
Oh, that's very generous of you.
Truth is truth. But remember, beauty is a treacherous thing, even to its possessor, Lady Hamilton. When your beauty is gone, what will you have left?
A man doesn't love a face or a figure, Lady Nelson. I shall have what I've always had.
You're proud, aren't you?
Yes?
Of course, and why not? May I ask your plans?
I have no plans, Lady Nelson. Only hopes.
I've talked with my husband. He's obviously infatuated with you.
I don't care for that word.
Nor do I. You surely are not stupid enough to think I'll give him a divorce. It's Lord and Lady Nelson in England. Don't forget that. There will be no further scandal. There will only be one Lady Nelson so long as I live.
Would you keep a man's name when you cannot keep his affections? Have you no pride at all?
I have pride enough to keep his name.
Lady Nelson, discussion is useless between us.
Did you think you could steal and never face the penalty? Did you think you could take my husband and never face me?
I have not stolen from you. What I have, you never had. If he had loved you, he would not have had a moment for me.
I loved him once. Loved him deeply. He was mine then. I know he was mine then.
He was never yours. You never made him happy.
He was happy enough once.
Do you suppose I wanted to love him or he me? Don't you suppose that he has pitied you and William and that I pitied you?
Pity? How dare you pity me? How dare you?
Lady Nelson, he is the whole world to me and I to him. You can beat that, flay at it with your logic and your rights, but you cannot even touch it.
I see there is nothing to be gained from talking to you. It's useless to talk of honor with your kind.
I have my own peculiar standards of honor. I've never violated them.
I'll not give him up.
Nor will I.
Good day, Lady Hamilton.
Good day, Lady Nelson.
It's war with France again, I tell you! War!
Gentlemen, it is my opinion that only one man in England is qualified to lead the Mediterranean Command. Admiral Nelson.
My lords, with all due respect and gratitude, I thank you for your confidence in honoring me with another command. I regret that I cannot accept at this time.
Napoleon will conquer England within a month. If our fleet cannot destroy him, we are lost.
Admiral Nelson can save us! Nelson! Nelson! Nelson!
I regret that at this time I cannot go to battle again.
Why does Parliament come to me with such a request? Why don't you tell Admiral Nelson yourself that you want to send him to war again?
He's told us he has fought enough, that he will not go to war again.
Your argument is with Admiral Nelson, sir, not with me.
Lady Hamilton, it was not an easy decision on our part to appeal to you. But Nelson will not fight for us again. He may choose to fight once more for you.
He has given you all his life. Now he is older. He is crippled. He has perhaps a third of his life left to live. Is he not to have even that much?
Lady Hamilton, you chose to love a hero. You've been his inspiration in the past. Now you must be his strength.
If I send him from me now, I send him to his death.
That may be. That is something none of us can answer. But this is England's desperate hour, lady. Which is more important to you, your love or your country?
There is no answer to that. There is no answer. I will talk to Admiral Nelson. He shall go to battle once more for England. I promise you. I promise. Horatio, I brought your sword down and your heavy cape. The nights are cold again.
Emma, listen to me. I fought for England. Now I want to live in England. I want to know the slow passing of English days. I want earth that is mine. I want nights to spend before fires. I want books to read and friends about me. I've earned those things, Emma.
I hope you won't run into any storms between here and the Mediterranean. I'll send your mail every other day.
Are we always to be torn apart? Will you let them tear us apart? Why are you doing this, Emma? Why are you saying these things?
I've always known the ultimate price of loving you.
There is no price to your love or to mine. I will love you to the grave and beyond the grave.
I know.
These are the years I've fought for. These few years of peace that we were to have together.
My darling, your role in history is to go forth to battle. Mine to bind your wounds. To love you and to see you forth again. To borrow you but never to hold you. You have belonged to England, and you always will.
I can't understand you, Emma. I thought my staying meant as much to you as it does to me. I knew we should have to fight for it, but I thought you would fight with me.
You cannot stay. You have no right to stay. In your trust in this hour are all the things that are English. The fields and the flowers of Devon. The waters of Avon and the Thames. Westminster Abbey. The Tower of London and the people who have watched it. Henry and Elizabeth and Cromwell and Raleigh. Tea and crumpets and grey London fogs. And Piccadilly and Leicester Square. English tradition and customs. England yesterday and today and tomorrow. And all in your trust, my darling. All in your trust.
What would you have me bring you from this trip? A bit of lace? Perhaps a shawl?
Oh, my darling. My darling. Come in. Lady Nelson.
I came to wait with you. I knew that you would receive word first.
Won't you sit down? I'll take your things.
That's a good portrait of him. Very recent, isn't it?
Yes, it was finished after the last campaign.
I hated you once. I don't hate you now. I don't believe you can help loving him.
Thank you for saying that.
We were both very young when we were married. It was a marriage of prudence, nothing more. If I fell in love with him one day when it was too late and I'd already lost him, it was not his fault.
I'm very sorry.
I don't want your pity. They told me you sent him on this command. If you had been the woman I once thought you would have kept him with you at any price.
It wasn't easy to see him go, but you see, I've come to realize his destiny. Lord Nelson's love is born and lost in the passing of a lifetime. But his name will live as long as will England.
I came here today to tell you you've won your victory, Lady Hamilton. He shall have his divorce.
Guard, present arms.
New guard, present arms.
L guard, slope, arms.
New guard, slope, arms.
The changing of the guard. Let's come every day we can, even when we're very old. I'll make tea every afternoon for all the Devon ladies. To bind your wounds, to borrow you but never to hold you. England, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and all in your trust, my darling. All in your trust. What does it matter if a heart breaks? If a man dies or 1,000 men, as long as gods are changed and flags are high in London, as long as England lives.
The curtain has fallen on the story of Lady Hamilton and Lord Nelson. But though the play is over, I do not leave you. I linger in your memory to return next week to quicken your hearts with another great love story. The play that shall speak for me then is Mrs. Moonlight by Ben W. Levy, starring Julie Hayden. Till then, till curtain time next week, I wish you love and happiness. My name is Romance.
You have been listening to Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was Lady Hamilton, written for radio by Jean Holloway. The play was directed by Mark Slobe, with script supervision by Albert Perkins. The music was conducted by Charles Paul. The part of Lady Hamilton was played by Madeline Carroll, Lord Nelson by Peter Donald, Sarah Burton appeared as Lady Nelson, and Alfred Shirley as Lord Hamilton. Listen next week at the same time when we will bring you our next great romance, Mrs. Moonlight. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Following this announcement, you'll hear Frank Sinatra from Hollywood in Broadway Bandbox.
Columbia brings you Romance.
My name is Romance. I'm the dream you carry in the heart of your youth. I'm all the stories told down the ages in the name of love. I'm one with each of you, part of the lover in all of you. I am Romance. Tonight I bring you the story of Mrs. Moonlight, Sarah Moonlight, a strange and lovely lady who is portrayed for us tonight by the distinguished Broadway star, Miss Julie Hayden. Men don't often understand this, but sometimes a woman is afraid to grow old. She's afraid because someone has told her that she's lovely, and she begins to think, will he love me less as the years pass, and I'm no longer young? Years ago, Tom Moonlight used to say that Mrs. Moonlight had the brightest eyes and the smallest waist and the most beautiful hair he'd ever seen. She loved to hear him say it, because she loved Tom Moonlight. And because she loved him so, she was truly afraid to grow old. That's why she did the thing she did. And afterward, she wouldn't face it. Until one birthday, when she had to face it. Tom and her sister Edith were with her. Poor Edith. She had always been in love with Mr. Moonlight. But she'd brought Mrs. Moonlight a shawl for her birthday gift.
A shawl? Oh, how lovely.
You don't like it, do you? I was afraid you wouldn't.
Oh, I do like it, Edith. I think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I can see a thing when it's plain before my nose. You don't like it, Sarah, because you think shawls are for old people.
Oh, Edith, that's not so.
Well, middle-aged people. But if you don't look middle-aged yourself, at least you're a mother and a married woman.
I should hope so.
And married to a middle-aged man.
I'm barely over 40.
44 is more than half of 80. And who knows that you won't die at 60.
Oh, Tom.
And just tell me this. Did Sarah look a day younger at 21 or 20 or 19 than she does today?
Well, no. But is that a crime?
I didn't say so.
Do you think so?
It's hardly my business.
Do you think so, Edith?
No, I don't think it's a crime. It's just bad taste.
Is it my fault if I don't seem to change much?
Whose fault would it be if not yours?
Oh, Edith, I can't help how I look. Dressing older doesn't seem to help. If there were a reason that I couldn't help, it wouldn't be bad taste then, would it?
It's just so odd, that's all. Isn't that a new dress, Sarah?
Yes, Tom gave it to me this morning. Isn't it lovely? Pink's always been my favorite color. Mr. Moonlight picked it all by himself.
It's not too bad. It's really not too bad at all. Sometimes I amaze myself.
It is pretty. What jewelry will you wear?
What shall I wear, Tom? My crystals?
We'd want something with a touch of blue.
Blue? I don't think I have anything blue.
Yes, you have, my dear. The, what do you call it? You know, you haven't worn it for years. The Dreard.
No.
Why, darling.
No.
What in the world is the Dreard?
Oh, it's a necklace made of turquoise. It's very pretty and very, very old. And it belonged to Minnie. It was in the family for centuries, and she gave it to me for a wedding present.
Why not wear that?
No.
But, darling, it's just the right color. It would look wonderful.
I'm sorry, Tom. I don't care for the Dreard. I don't think it looks very well on me.
But you used to like it when we
But
were
I
first married.
Don't like it now. Yes?
The baby is crying. Isn't anybody going up to see her before church?
I'd like to go up and see Baby Jane for a moment. May I, Sarah?
Of course.
Come along, then. Come along.
Tom, you should be very nice to Edith.
Well, I am, aren't I?
Yes.
Why?
You see, she's in love with you.
Rubbish.
It's true.
I don't believe it.
Then you're very unobservant.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Perhaps she does like me and respect me. But I don't think any more than most women.
Then perhaps they're all in love with you, Mr. Moonlight. Except me.
You? Why, you adore me.
I don't.
Mrs. Moonlight, you worship me.
Mr. Moonlight, I don't.
Then just why did you marry me?
Pity, Mr. Moonlight.
Self-pity, madam, is a disgusting trait.
Is that so? Well, then, I guess I'll just have to confess. It was my name. Any girl with the name of Sarah Jones would make enormous sacrifices to be called Sarah Moonlight.
Sarah Moonlight. There's something I've been meaning to tell you.
Yes, Mr. Moonlight?
You've made me very happy. Funny. I probably told you I loved you far more times when I was 25. And yet I love you much more now. I wouldn't have believed that was possible.
Oh, Tom. Tom.
Well, don't cry about it.
It's only that I love you so much, and I'm afraid.
afraid?
That
Of what?
it might end.
Not a chance. You aren't going to get away from baby Jane and me. You're ours legally, you know. We can take it right into court if necessary. Oh, Sarah, the best years are still ahead of us. The years when we'll grow old together.
Tom, suppose someone should be born who never did grow any older. I mean, after a certain age. At least who never looked any older. What would happen?
She'd probably make a fortune in a freak show.
Tom, be serious. What do you think would happen? What would you think of a person like that?
Me? I've told you. I'd think she was a freak.
Oh, she would be very lonely, wouldn't she? No man would love a freak.
No decent, normal man. Mrs. Moonlight, you look older in time.
You want me to look older?
Why, of course. There's quite enough that's miraculous about my wife without perennial youth.
It sounds silly when I talk to you about it, but not when I'm alone. It's like a nightmare that's always there. You see, it's growing stronger, not weaker. I don't know what's going to happen.
Silly Mrs. Moonlight.
Tom, whatever happens, you'll always believe that I loved you, won't you?
Nothing's going to happen. In the morning, you'll look 35 and hate it.
Your baby wants to see you before you go to church, Mr. Moonlight.
All right. Be back in a moment, dear.
Minnie, I don't know what will become of me. I'm never going to look any older.
Nonsense.
It's true, I know it. I suppose I've really known it for some time. It was your necklace, Minnie.
Oh, that old piece of trash.
Remember the legend? One wish to every owner.
Why will you upset yourself over that Fally Deedle?
I wished, Minnie. It was just before Jane was born, and I used to wear your necklace always. I was afraid that when Jane was born, I might not look so pretty, and Tom might love me less. So I wished and wished that I might never look any older. I wished and wished. Now it's happened, and I'm a kind of freak.
Oh, do not torment yourself. It's not true. And if it is, think how lucky you are to be your own pretty self always.
Minnie, if ever you should get a letter from me, ever, do you hear?
Oh, no.
Everything in it you must treat as sacred. Not a soul must see it but you.
And what would be in it?
I don't know just now. I'd like to feel that I could write to someone.
It's time to start for church, Sarah.
I don't think I'll go this morning, Tom. I have a headache.
A headache, did you say? You were up too late last night, Sarah.
Maybe I should stay home, too. Keep you company.
Oh, no, thank you, Mr. Moonlight. Never let it be said of me that any headache of mine stood between you and your slender chances of salvation.
That's a trifle flippant, Sarah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Edith. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. Moonlight. May I kiss you goodbye?
I'm only going to church, my dear. It's only an hour.
It seems longer. Goodbye, Mr. Moonlight. Goodbye.
It was 17 years. 17 years before Sarah Moonlight, young as ever, saw Tom Moonlight again. When they came back from church that day, she was gone. She left a note that said she was going to kill herself and it would be no use to hunt for her. But she went to Italy and France and Austria and other places. And then, after 17 years, she found a way to come back for a visit. By that time, Tom and Edith were married, and Jane was grown up enough to receive suitors. Mrs. Moonlight pretended she was a cousin of Jane's own age. She stayed 3 weeks. A sad, wonderful, beautiful, heartbreaking 3 weeks. On the last day, she had a chat with Minnie.
You packed everything, Minnie?
Of course I have. Doesn't your train go at 3:20?
Yes, I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid.
You
afraid of this? I'm afraid of that.
You will come again?
After another 20 years.
Stuff and nonsense. Long before.
Oh, no, Minnie. What's the use?
To see us all.
To see you all growing old without me. To feel left behind.
There is no leaving behind. You are older in yourself, too.
Yes, in myself. That's one of my little troubles.
And who is this new music master you're off to meet in Paris?
The man who's going to arrange some concerts for me.
You shouldn't have to work.
It keeps me busy.
Oh, why ever did you go? Why did you?
I told you in my letter. I wanted to hide so that no one would suffer through me. All right, it was madness, hysteria, panic, but look at me. Look at me now. Do I look as old as my own daughter?
No. Have you friends?
I have cousins. They all know about me, and they're very kind. It was Maud's idea to write to Tom and Edith and say I was her daughter Joy and ask them to let me visit. I've missed you, Minnie. I wish you could come with me.
No, my place is here. That Tom Moonlight would be in a pretty way without me.
That Tom Moonlight.
Oh, here you are, Joy. I've been looking everywhere for you.
I haven't been far.
I'd like to speak to you a moment privately before you go. Will you leave us, please, Minnie dear?
I suppose I will.
What is it, Jane?
Well, it's about Willie Ragg. I want you to help me, Joy. We want to get married, and Father doesn't think he's the right person for me. So I thought if you were to speak to him, it's obvious that he's mad about you.
Oh, Jane.
Well, it's true. He talks about you all the time. He says you remind him of my mother. And that's about the nicest compliment my father could pay any woman.
I'm sure I thank him very much for it.
So would you please tell him before you go what you think of Willie?
Are you sure you'd like me to?
Oh, very sure.
But, Jane, my dear, you see, what I think of Willie is really very much what Uncle Tom thinks of Willie.
Joy.
I'm so sorry, my dear. You want me to tell the truth, don't you?
Yes, but I thought you'd understand. Can't you see what Willie really is?
I'm afraid I can, my dear. I've been worried that you wouldn't. Now, Percy Middling.
Percy Middling? He's impossible. He's a drip of the first water.
Percy has some very solid qualities. He'd make a good husband.
Yes, but not for me. I'm sorry I bothered you, Joy.
Oh.
I thought you'd be on my side.
My dear, I am.
That's what Edith always says. But middle-aged people have forgotten what it's like to be in love.
Not always, Jane. I haven't forgotten.
No, you're not old enough to have forgotten yet. One of these days you'll be falling in love, too, though, and then you'll know how I feel.
I've disappointed you. I'm sorry.
Oh, skip it. It's all right. I just thought you'd understand.
May I come in, ladies?
Oh, Willie, of course. I'm so glad you're here.
My nice little Jane.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ragg. You're only just in time to see me. I'm off in half an hour, you know.
What a shame. I've come to regard you, Miss Joy, during the last 3 weeks as an essential corner of a very happy triangle.
Why, yes. In fact, I don't know what our engagement would have been without you.
3 is not usually regarded as the ideal number for an engagement. But I shall miss you both. I feel very sorry for myself in Paris.
I'd love to go to Paris.
It's a lonely city.
Miss Jane, your father wants you in the library right away. That Percy Middling is with him.
All right, Minnie. Excuse me.
Well, may I sit beside you?
Why not, Mr. Ragg?
Until you call me Willie, I'm going to feel very ill at ease with you. Unless you're afraid to.
I'm never afraid. Willie?
Then, in that case...
Oh. Why did you kiss me?
You'll never make me say I'm sorry.
What a shame that I'm leaving today.
You're not going to get away from me now. I'll follow you.
To Paris? Paris is a very big place.
Where will you be?
I don't promise to see you if you come.
The address, tell me.
84 Rue d'Alger.
84 Rue d'Alger. Now, I won't be able to come before...
Percy's come to say goodbye to Joy.
That's right. Shake hands with the lady, Percy.
I was going to.
It was kind of you to come.
Not at all. It's been a great pleasure having you here. I wish you could stay a bit. We're going to have lots of excitement. A ball, a horse show.
Well, that reminds me, Jane. I'm terribly sorry and so on, but I'm going out of town for a few days. I won't be able to take you and your mother to the horse show after all.
Oh, Willie.
I can't get out of it. You see, it's business.
But you haven't any business.
Isn't it a coincidence that Mr. Ragg has to go to Paris, too?
Paris? Willie? For business?
Why, yes, dear. After all, people do business in Paris.
I see.
Now then, what would you like me to bring you back as a surprise?
Nothing, Willie. I don't think I like surprises.
Well, we'll see. Goodbye, Percy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Jane. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Jane, come and sit here by me.
No. Percy, will you do something for me?
Of course I will, Jane.
You know where Willie lives.
Yes.
Then will you take him this ring, please?
Of course. I'll be only too glad, but...
Percy, do you still want to marry me?
Of course I do, Jane. Very much, but...
Then you may ask Willie to congratulate you.
Jane, I don't understand.
Never mind. Don't try to understand now. Just go and do what I ask.
But, Jane...
Will you please go?
Yes. Yes, of course, dear.
There, my darling. Don't you care. Don't you care. He's not worth it.
Don't touch me. How dare you? He isn't worth it, is he? But you wanted him, didn't you?
Oh, Jane.
Don't talk to me. I hate you. Do you hear? I hate you.
Jane, dear. What on earth are you saying?
Yes, surely that's no way to talk to your cousin.
Why did she have to come here?
Cousin?
Why did she have to come here and ruin my life?
What are you talking about?
I've just broken my engagement, and I'm going to marry Percy. Now are you all satisfied? She wanted Willie, and she's got him. I shall be unhappy all my life.
Now, darling, come along. You're going to lie down and have a nice rest. Come along with me now. Come along.
Are you disgusted with me, Uncle Tom?
My child, I don't even know the facts.
Jane told you fairly. I've stolen her young man. He was coming to Paris to see me.
I never would have thought it of you.
I did it so she'd give him up. I didn't want him. I'd rather have Jane's love than his.
Then why did you do it?
You were against the marriage?
Yes, certainly I was. I thought they would never be happy.
So did I.
But really, my dear, I'm her father.
Yes, you're her father. I made up the address I gave him.
Why should you, a distant cousin, go to all this elaborate trouble for us?
Don't ask me any more questions, please.
Very well, my dear.
When Jane's over this, will you tell her what I've told you?
Of course I will.
Tell me, are you very happy, Mr. Moonlight?
Strange. You said my name just the way Mrs. Moonlight used to say it.
You must have loved her very much.
Mrs. Moonlight was the beginning and the end of all love for me.
What was she like?
Very much like you. Very lovely.
And you've never forgotten her?
No. There's some things you never forget. There's some things that only come once.
Mr. Moonlight, may I kiss you goodbye?
Of course, my dear.
Goodbye, Mr. Moonlight. Goodbye.
Mrs. Moonlight, wait. Mrs. Moonlight.
17 years between the first parting and the first meeting. 30 years before the second meeting. Mrs. Moonlight hadn't meant ever to see them again, but she went back to London and somehow she couldn't stay away from the house. By now, Jane and Percy had a son, Peter Midling, who was always going in and out, and Mrs. Moonlight liked to stand outside and watch him. He was tall and handsome, much as Mr. Moonlight had been so long ago. And one day, she couldn't help herself. She went into the house, and Jane and she stood face to face once more.
I'm sorry to intrude on you like this.
Come over and sit by the fire. You must be cold.
Thank you. Are you Peter's mother?
Yes, I am. How did you know?
I just know somehow. Is that why you're staring at me so?
No. It's just that you remind me of someone I knew long ago. My cousin Joy. But of course it's only a resemblance. You couldn't be.
Of course. Where's your father?
He's upstairs.
May I see him?
No, I'm afraid not. You see, he's very old. He'd be asleep now. We have to take great care of him.
Is he well?
He's very feeble. The doctor isn't very pleased with him. His memory's gone. He really doesn't recognize people. He hasn't recognized any of us for months.
Poor Mr. Moonlight.
Is there anyone in here? It's very dark.
It's dark.
Oh, Father, you shouldn't have come down.
Hush. Let me speak to him, please. Mr. Moonlight.
Oh, Mrs. Moonlight. I've been asleep. I've had a good nap.
Yes, dear. I know.
Has Edith gone?
Edith? Yes, dear. She's gone.
Good. I'm worried about Edith. Worried about what you told me this morning. Oh, here, my dear, sit down beside me. I've been thinking it over, and I believe you're right. Edith is in love with me.
Of course she is, darling. We all are.
Including you, huh? This morning you had a very different story. Then it was except you.
Was it, Mr. Moonlight? Perhaps I've grown older since then.
Have you indeed? Well, I'll tell you a secret. I never believed you. You love me very much indeed.
Clever, Mr. Moonlight.
Am I right?
Of course you're right, my darling.
Hi, Mom. Hello, Grandfather. Say, who's the lady?
Why, this is my wife, young man. Who do you think it is?
Your wife? But, Grandpa, why should you think it's your wife?
Heavens, oughtn't I to know my own wife? Who are you, anyway?
I'm Peter, sir, your grandson.
Grandson? Huh. I don't know you, sir, and I don't much want to.
But I think your wife's very pretty, Grandpa.
Do you, Mr. Peter? And she is, too. That's what they all say. And what's more, she doesn't alter. Do you know that? She doesn't alter. Doesn't alter. Now, what's that bit about altering? She's worried about that. There's something about altering. I don't like that a bit. I've forgotten.
What's your wife's name, Grandpa?
She's called Sarah. Sarah Jones before she met me. I'll tell you something if you want to know. She used to say that's why she married me. Couldn't stand Sarah Jones at any price. Do you know, Mrs. Moonlight, I'm a very lucky man. And a very happy man.
So am I, Mr. Moonlight.
I think I shall go up to bed. I'm feeling tired and sleepy. Minnie was turning it down when I came down to see you. Are you coming up now?
No, dear. Not just yet. But I won't wake you.
Good night, Mrs. Moonlight.
Good night, Mr. Moonlight.
Why is she staying up there so long? And what's she doing here anyhow?
I don't know. She just seems to belong here, as if she knew us all. I wonder if I should go up. Minnie said he was asking to see her and no one else. I do hope nothing's wrong. Minnie, what is it?
Here. Sit down. Here, Mrs. Moonlight.
Minnie?
She's dead, Miss Jane.
Oh, Minnie.
She was with him. He was in her arms.
Oh, how sad.
It's all right. I'm all right. Quite all right. I'm not unhappy. It was really very, very beautiful. It would be wicked to be unhappy. I'm only very tired. I wonder why I'm so tired. He just said to me, I love you, Mrs. Moonlight, very, very dearly. He just said that. And he looked happy, too. Jane. Where's Jane?
Here I am.
Where's your hand?
Here.
I'm so pleased with you, Jane. And I've always liked your nice Percy middling. You've done well together, haven't you? A nice boy and a nice home. I love you, Mrs. Moonlight, very, very dearly. Peter, are you listening?
Of course I am. What is it?
Peter, I want you always to be a very good boy. You are now, aren't you?
I don't know.
I know. You're a good boy. Any grandmother would be glad of you. You're the image of Mr. Moonlight. You'll make some girl very happy. Oh, I'm so tired. I love you, Mrs. Moonlight. Very, very dearly. Oh, Jane. Do I look happy?
Very happy, dear. Are you?
So happy. But it's funny to be so tired. Why, hello, Mr. Moonlight. You know all about me now, don't you? It doesn't have to be a secret anymore. Now, Lord, lettest thou thy servant depart in peace. For mine eyes have seen the glory of... May I take your arm, Mr. Moonlight?
The curtain has fallen on Mrs. Moonlight, but though the play is over, I do not leave you. I linger in your memory to return next week to quicken your hearts with another great love story. The play that shall speak for me then is Wild Oranges, a tale of romance and adventure by one of the great storytellers of our generation, Joseph Hergesheimer. Till then, till curtain time next week, I wish you love and happiness. My name is Romance.
You've been listening to Romance, a series of programs produced by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was Mrs. Moonlight by Ben W. Levy, adapted for radio by Jean Holloway, with script supervision by Albert Perkins. The play was directed by Marx Loeb, and the music was conducted by Charles Paul. The part of Mrs. Moonlight was played by Julie Hayden, and Mr. Moonlight by Ted Osborne. Listen next week at a new time, 11:30 p.m. Eastern War Time, when we will bring you our next great romance, Wild Oranges. Remember, beginning next Monday, Romance will be heard at a new time, 11:30 p.m. Eastern War Time, over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Columbia brings you Romance.
My name is Romance. I am the dream you carry in the heart of your youth. I'm all the stories told down the ages in the name of love. I am one with each of you, part of the lover in all of you. I am Romance. Tonight I bring you Dark Victory, a play in which Tallulah Bankhead on the stage and Betty Davis on the screen have won new acting laurels. Tonight, our star is Barbara Weeks. It's a story of a woman, Judith Traherne, a young woman who years before her time came face to face with destiny. Destiny, the strange force that shapes the lives of all of us.
Boy, look at that girl ride. She's the best horsewoman I've ever seen.
Judith always does everything better than anyone else.
Here she comes to the fence now. Oh, I love to watch her jump. Go to it, Judith! Go to it! Judith!
Yes, the blow came suddenly and swiftly, and after it, the gift, though Judith didn't recognize it when it came. She only knew she'd come to see a doctor, and that she was looking into eyes she would never forget.
How do you do?
How do you do?
How did you get those burns?
What burns?
Those burns right there between the first two fingers.
It's funny. I never noticed them until now.
I see. Won't you sit down, Mr. Hearn?
Thank you, Dr. Steele.
Now then, do you read much, Mr. Hearn?
Not much lately.
Have your eyes been bothering you?
No.
Now, see here, I'm going to be your doctor. I'm here to help you, not to fight you. You've got to answer my questions fairly and honestly.
It's a waste of time for both of us. I don't know why Dr. Parsons insisted I see you. I feel perfectly all right. All this fuss about a little fall is beginning to get on my nerves.
Does that light from the window bother you? It's in your eyes.
No.
How old are you, Mr. Hearn?
27.
Do you use your eyes a great deal?
I generally keep them open, Doctor.
What do you do with your time?
Oh, hunting, tennis, golf.
Anything else?
Usual pleasures of the idle rich. Well, I like it.
Nonsense. It bores you to death, and you know it.
Well, when that gets too tame, I raise the jumps and ride like the devil.
Yes, that takes your mind off your mind nicely, doesn't it?
All right. You know my racket now. What's yours? Oh, come now. You've cross-questioned me. It's only fair to take a little of your own medicine.
Well, mine's high-pressure surgery. Park Avenue clientele. About 10 days off each summer.
Sounds perfectly awful.
It is.
Why do you do it?
Because, like you, I've been caught in a racket. But I'm quitting, clearing out.
Where are you going?
Little town in northern Vermont. I'm going to live there, be a country doctor.
In heaven's name, why?
I want a more human place in the scheme of things.
Must be wonderful to be doing what you really believe in. I don't know what I believe in.
You're squinting. That light is bothering you. How long have you had these headaches?
I haven't any headaches.
You have one now. How did you come out at bridge yesterday?
Let me think.
Quickly.
Oh, how can I remember? I play bridge every day. Why are you asking me all these silly questions?
Did Dr. Parsons say you could play bridge yesterday?
See here, Dr. Steele, neither you nor Dr. Parsons are going to make an invalid out of me.
You've been having these headaches for months. They've been getting worse lately. Your eyes have been acting queerly, too, just as though someone was shutting a pair of folding doors until your vision is almost cut in half. I'll tell you how you got those burns between your fingers. From a cigarette. You never felt it because your tactile nerves are paralyzed. Your memory's all shot to pieces. You can't concentrate. You're irritable because your nerves are on edge. Now, see here, Mr. Hearn, I want to help you. I can't possibly do it unless I can get you to talk. Now, make up your mind. Either answer my questions or get out of here and go on the way you've been going.
What do you want to know?
How long ago did you first notice these headaches?
Months ago. 5 or 6, I guess.
Have your eyes bothered you as long as that?
No, that's only lately, the last few weeks.
Splendid. It's a great help. Miss Wainwright.
Yes, Doctor?
Mr. Hearn, please go into that next room with Miss Wainwright. She'll take some x-rays.
Certainly. I'm sorry, Dr. Steele. You've got the reins in your hands now. You'll find me a good patient.
All right, Mr. Hearn. I hope you'll find me a good doctor. Make those pictures good and sharp, Miss Wainwright.
Yes, Dr. Steele.
Well, Dr. Steele, you can look at the x-ray plate yourself, Parsons. It's a tumor. Glioma of the brain.
Oh, no.
In the temporal and parietal lobes. She has a right visual defect.
Is it operable?
With luck, yes, but the plates show it's diffused. That means...
She'll get a recurrence.
Yes.
How long before?
10 months to a year.
Invalidism, I suppose?
No, that's the one decent thing about it. She'll probably never know until the last, and then she'll go blind. Of course, her blindness will only last for a minute, but that will be the signal. There'll only be a few hours after that.
Are you going to tell her?
Would you want her to know?
No.
Then that's your answer.
Oh, I don't know what to say.
Rotten business doctoring. Girl like this who's got everything to live for. Why did you have to call me in on this case?
May I come in?
Yes, of course, Mr. Hunt. You must be done up after all the questioning and examining.
Just a bit. Sorry I was so childish.
Not at all. You were a good sport. Mr. Hearn, I'm afraid this is going to be a bit of a shock to you. But it's only the idea that's hard to accept, not the thing itself. You see, something's gone wrong in that incredible labyrinth of wires we call the brain.
What does that mean?
Operation, I'm afraid.
An operation? Dr. Parsons,
Yes, my dear.
is it so serious then?
Yes. But Dr. Steele will tell you all about it. I'll leave you with him.
It's no use pretending I'm not afraid. I am afraid.
Mr. Hearn, to beat this thing, I'm going to need all the help you can give me. You must trust me completely, absolutely. We can't afford to waste 1/100th part of your energy. I must have your complete faith.
You're asking a lot. I've never had faith in anyone. I wish we'd met before, Doctor.
So do I.
Will this operation absolutely cure me?
I think I can guarantee you a complete surgical recovery.
What does that mean?
It means you'll get well. No worries now? No, don't look away. I'm asking for your trust.
My trust? Yes, of course. You know you have it, don't you, Dr. Steele?
I want you to say it.
Very well. I'm giving you my trust and my whole heart.
With your whole heart.
No, Doctor, and my whole heart.
That was the blow of destiny, the shock of sudden pain, and then the slow, prowling fear that walked the days with her and could not be stared down. But she had the operation, and then the fate that had dealt the blow offered the gift in sudden compassion.
Hello, Fred. I didn't expect you today.
Oh, I guess I just can't stay away, Judith. Do you mind?
Mind? I can't even answer that. You shouldn't catch me unawares like this. It isn't fair.
Any headache today?
No.
Sleep well?
Beautifully.
How's the appetite?
Marvelous. I'll be getting fat.
Oh, good. Now stand with both feet together. That's it. Close your eyes. How's your balance?
Perfect?
Well, then, the patient is dismissed.
Oh, there must be something wrong. You can't really dismiss me this soon.
I'm off to Vermont tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I would have gone long ago if it hadn't been for you.
I'll break a leg if you'll stay.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be my case. There's a small town that needs me, and it's time I was getting to it.
I need you to.
You don't? No, not now. But if you ever do, I'll come to you halfway across the world if necessary.
You sound very serious. Something wrong?
No.
Yes, there is. You're not telling me the truth. I think I'm a little frightened again.
No, you're not. Not you. I don't think I've ever known anyone with greater courage.
Did you think it was courage? If it was, it wasn't mine. It was yours. It was your arm always under mine. It was your faith and your strength. But now you're going, and I'm afraid.
Judith, if you knew I'd always be beside you, would you be afraid then?
No, not of anything. What kind of talk is this? You've been very kind, Fred. Your patient is most grateful for all you've done. She wishes you luck and success and all the happiness there is in Vermont.
Judith, could you be happy in Vermont?
Vermont? I don't know. I never tried it.
I don't suppose I slept an hour last night. I kept walking around saying, this is madness. How can a doctor like me dare to love a girl like you? How could he ask her to leave everything she's always known and cared about for him? She'd hate a country town. I said to myself, I'll go over and say goodbye, and that'll be that.
Oh, my darling, my darling.
Do you think you could be happy away from all this?
I'd be happy anywhere you were. If it was the North Pole. I don't blame you. I wanted the world once and the silver platter and the gold spoon. But now I want a house. Any house in the world that you would be the heart of. Isn't it funny? I lied. I haven't been sleeping at all. I've been sitting up saying, won't that stupid baboon ever wake up? I've been saying, what's the good of living in this world if he's going to walk right out of it?
I thought I was the born bachelor, but evidently I was just waiting for you. When will you marry me?
It'll take me 10 minutes to powder my nose.
Oh, you have to wait 3 days for a license.
Oh, I could never wait that long. You might change your mind.
Not a chance.
Oh, darling. Hold me close. Don't ever let me go.
I'll never leave you. You may leave me, but I'll never leave you.
Oh, I'm so happy. I want to go out on the street and tell everyone who comes along. I want to laugh and cry all at the same time. I want 7 children, Fred. 7, all boys. I think I even want to pray a little. I want to say, dear God, let it be forever just like this. Thank you for letting me be young and alive. Fred, why are you looking like that? What is it? What's wrong?
Nothing, darling. Nothing at all. Go powder your nose and let's see about the light.
No. Let's wait a minute. Something is wrong. I can feel it. You're keeping something from me.
No, darling, no.
Yes, you are.
Don't you trust me?
In a way, and yet at the same time, I feel as though there was something I should know. You talk so guardedly about me, a complete surgical recovery, you said, and I'll come to you halfway across the world if necessary. Fred, I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and I want you to answer it. Is anything wrong with me?
I've told you could do anything you wanted to now.
Fred, I'm asking for the truth. I'm entitled to it.
Yes, Judith, you are entitled to it. Give me your hands. Judith, as far as surgery can go, you're cured, absolutely. But there are some things surgery can't do. I shan't be technical, but when I took that thing out of your head, there was a tiny part of it that couldn't be reached. It's what we call an infiltration.
Yes?
Well, I got out all that I could see, but not quite all there was.
Then the operation didn't cure me.
It did cure you. For the moment. But in time, Judith, it will grow.
Then this horrible thing is coming back again, and that'll mean another operation. No. You mean that wouldn't do any good? I see. Give me a cigarette, will you, please? Thanks. I'll have to face those headaches and that ghastly confusion all over again.
No, dear, you won't. That's all behind you. I promise you there'll be no suffering of any kind.
How will it happen?
Just as quietly as going to sleep.
Then how will I know?
Oh, Judith, it's not necessary to go into all that now.
But I want to know if I'll have any warning, any chance to be ready.
Well, there'll be a moment when you won't be able to see as usual. That's all.
You mean I'll go blind?
Just for a moment. And you'll be perfectly all right again. But after a few hours, 2 or 3, you'll go to sleep.
How much time have I?
Let that be my secret.
No, you've had too many secrets. Go on, tell me how long. 5 years, 1 year, 6 months?
Possibly more. One can't be certain. 6, 10 months, say.
Not so very long. You knew this all along, from the first?
Yes.
And you're offering to marry me and take me to Fellsborough? That's very chivalrous of you, Fred. Very chivalrous. So very like you. No, don't touch me. Well, you didn't touch me just now. Do you mind? I've got to think.
I'd give you my own life if I could.
I know you would. Kind of funny, isn't it? I was so sure of myself, so completely happy.
Judith.
What do we say now? Goodbye, good luck, see you soon?
Not a bit of it. We find a preacher and we say we want to be Mr. and Mrs. Fred Steele.
Mrs. Fred Steele. Such a lovely name. Would have been such fun to use it. Such beautiful fun.
Don't let this make any difference,
But it
Judith.
can't help but make a difference. You and I are from different worlds. I thought we could bridge those worlds with time. But now there isn't any time. Now I've got to stay here with the things and the people I know.
Don't you believe how much I love you? Don't you know how much I need
Oh,
you?
you're sorry for me.
No, Judith. When I'm with you, I feel complete, satisfied, at home. When I'm not with you, I feel terribly lonely. It isn't pity. Don't think that for a moment.
And what will you be thinking when you hold me in your arms? I'm holding a dead woman. I'm kissing a dead woman. Oh, Fred, go away. Let me die my own way.
Judith, stop it.
Well, this isn't going the way you expected, is it? Do you think I'm going to bury myself in Vermont now? I've got to cram a lifetime into 6 months. You didn't know I was like this, did you? Well, brother, you keep your eyes open and just watch my smoke.
Judith, this won't help.
What would you want me to do? Be sweet and gentle and resigned? Well, I'm mad. Mad right through to my marrow. Life played a rotten, dirty trick on me. Why don't you go? The case has been dismissed.
Judith, sit down. Try to be rational.
Sorry, Fred, I haven't time for sitting. I've got to call Alden. Hello? Hello, Walnut 2990, please. It's warm out. I can wear my new dress. Hello, Alden? Alden, darling, I'm coming to the party after all if you want me. Thanks. Thanks, I'd love to. I want to celebrate tonight. A colonel, you say? Alden, I'll be there with bells on. Oh, still here, Doctor?
If you change your mind, if you need me, Judith, I'll come from anywhere.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye, Judith.
No, darling. Come in. Oh. Hello, Michael. Something wrong with one of the horses?
The mare lost a shoe, miss.
Oh, why bother me with it? Have a shod.
Miss Judith,
Well, what is it?
if you'll forgive the liberty, you've been going it too hard. We only live once, you know.
That's right. Only once.
No one can go on as you've been going, riding, swimming, dancing, going night and day.
Michael? Sit down.
Thanks, I will.
I'll fix you a drink. Is it hard being a groom, Michael?
Yes, it is hard.
Well, forget you're a groom, Michael, and talk to me as a man.
You're taking a chance saying that to me.
Why?
I've been born out of my time, Miss Judith. If this were another day, I'd ride off with you.
You making love to me?
I've loved you since the first day I set foot in your house.
It's very impertinent of you.
Not so much. You're down to my level now, and I know it. Your quality's gone.
Don't say that.
Look in the glass if you don't believe it. You've lost caste. Oh, I loved you. I knew you were above me. I loved you then as a queen, but I can love you now as a groom.
No. Oh, no. This wasn't the way I wanted it. This isn't the way I want to die.
Die? Die, did you say?
I'm going to die, Michael. In about 2 months. It's this thing in my brain coming back. It's going to kill me. Oh, I've wasted so many weeks, haven't I? I've nothing to show for them. I've been cheap and undignified and stupid.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Forgive you? Michael, I want to thank you for waking me up. I'm going away tonight, Michael. I know where I belong now. Even if it's only 2 months, I know what I want to do with them. I've come, Fred.
I've been waiting for you, counting the moments.
Moment is all we have.
It's all lovers ever have, darling. Few perfect hours. I tried to explain that to you before.
What will it do to you? The shadow's fallen on my earth. It mustn't fall on yours.
My darling, it's been falling since time began. Listen, between now and now, there's been a birth and the passing of life, sunset and dawn. And your shadow's mine. And your victory over it, that's mine, too.
It will be a dark victory, I'm afraid. Here are the bulbs you've been waiting for, Mrs. Fred. We'll start them today, Miss Jenny. Of course, they won't bloom till late spring now. Happy? Oh, terrible. A 2-month bride should be. Please, Don't speak of the month.
Very well.
Oh, long distance, I'll bet. I can tell by the ring. Hello? Yes? Montreal calling Dr. Steele? No, he isn't. Yes, I'll have him call operator 25 when he comes in. Goodbye. Oh, Miss Jenny, I bet he has to go someplace now. You know, I can't help grudging every minute he's away.
Oh, then you shouldn't have married a doctor.
Well, I couldn't help myself. I wish it wouldn't cloud up like this.
Why, what are you talking about?
I don't like the way it's getting overcast. It means a storm.
But the sun's out. I never saw it brighter.
Sun's out? Can't be. It's getting dimmer, I tell you. Sun's gone behind a cloud. It must have gone behind a cloud, Miss Jenny. How dark it's grown. Almost like night. Miss Jenny!
Here, sit down. You've been out in the sun too long without a hat.
Thank you. I'll be all right in a moment. Let me sit here a minute. Getting better now. Sorry I made such a fool of myself. Oh, is that Fred coming in the drive?
Yes, it is.
Don't say anything to him, Miss Jenny. He'd only worry. It's foolish of me to stay out so long.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Miss Jenny.
Hello, Doctor.
What's there for dinner?
Oh,
I'm starving.
I'll get right after it.
Good.
Oh, call operator 25, dear. Montreal is calling.
All right. Operator 25, please. How are you feeling, dear?
Beautiful.
Hello? Hello, this is Dr. Frederick Steele. You have a call for me? Yes. Hello? Yes, put Dr. Pratt on, will you? Hello? Hello, Stephen. Yes? What? Skidded off a bridge? Fractured skull, you said? Well, no, I don't see how I can get away. Well, that'd mean at least 3 days. Yes, it is a delicate operation. Well, no, offhand, I don't know of anyone else who's done one like it.
Fred, you've got to go.
But, darling, it means at least 3 days. Yes, Stephen, I'm listening. No, I'm afraid I can't make it.
You must.
Just a moment, Steve.
Darling, this is your work, your life. This comes first.
You feel perfectly well, do you?
Don't I look perfect?
All right, darling, you win. Hello, Stephen. Yes, I'll leave right away. Well, I've just about time to make the evening train. See you in the morning. All right, goodbye. Now, I'll write down just where you can reach me if you need me.
I'll get your coat.
Judith, I'm not going. I'll call Platt and tell him I can't.
You'll have to buy a toothbrush at the school.
I can't leave you, darling.
Fred, we have just a minute together before you have to go. Look at me. I promised myself I would never fail you or keep you from your best. If that man died in Montreal, it would be on my conscience. You're his only chance.
I love you, darling. How can I go?
That's why you must go. Oh, darling, nothing can hurt us now. We've had our love. Whether the end comes today or tomorrow or a year from tomorrow. Nothing can change that or take it away from us. Why, I've had a lifetime of happiness these past 2 months.
You speak as though it were over.
It will never be over. I have your ring on my finger and your name on my heart. That's my talisman against the dark. I'm not afraid anymore. And neither are you, my dear. So kiss me goodbye and run. Are you going to miss that? Please, Fred.
Goodbye until Monday, then.
Oh, I like that kiss. Wish there were time for more.
That's just to bridge the time between now and Monday.
To bridge the time.
Well, I'm off. Goodbye, Miss Jenny. I'm off.
My gracious, your dinner's almost ready.
I'll have to eat on the train. See you Monday. Good luck while I'm gone.
Good luck.
He's gone.
Yes, he's gone. But not very far, Miss Jenny. Never very far. Oh, I'm a little tired. I think I'll lie down for a while. Miss Jenny, there used to be a prayer when I was a child. Something about if I should die. Do you remember?
Now I lay me down to sleep.
Yes, that's it.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before
I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That's a very lovely prayer, isn't it? I never thought much about it before, but that's a lovely prayer.
Shall I wake you later for your dinner?
No, I think I shall sleep until morning. I'm sure I shall sleep until morning.
The curtain has fallen on Dark Victory. But though the play is over, I do not leave you. I linger in your memory to return next week with another great love story. The play that shall speak for me then is The Barker, Kenyon Nicholson's famous romance set in a sideshow carnival. Till then, till curtain time next week, I wish you love and happiness. My name is Romance.
You've been listening to Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was Dark Victory by George Brewer Jr. and Bertram Bloch, adapted for radio by Gene Holloway with script supervision by Albert R. Perkin. The play was directed by Mark Slobe, music conducted by Charles Paul. The part of Judith was played by Barbara Weeks with Carl Frank as Dr. Steele. Listen next week at the same time when we will bring you our next great romance, The Barker. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Columbia brings you Romance.
My name is Romance. Forever young, forever yours. I live in the great love stories of the past and in the tender love stories of today. I speak to the lover in all of you, signing myself from the heart. The story I'm going to tell you now is no ordinary one, where boy meets girl to the accompaniment of violins and moonlight. Yet it is a romance of those carefree carnival days before the war. A love story as American as popcorn and peanuts, as American as merry-go-rounds and Ferris wheels, bright lights and brighter stars, and the high, shrill excitement in the voice of the Barker.
Ladies and gentlemen, step a little closer. You are now standing directly in front of the big feature attraction of Colonel Gowdy's Big City Shows. The biggest show for the money that ever played your beautiful little city. On the inside, you'll see Princess Kalima, the pride of sunny Honolulu. And as a special advertising price, tonight the admission is only 1 dime, 10 cents, the 10th part of $1. Remember, it's the big feature show on the Midway. All ready? The box office is open, the performers retire, and the show starts right away.
Hello, Nifty. Where are you going so fast? Can't you stop and talk a while? Gee, you look great out in front tonight. Sit down a moment.
Okay, Carrie. Hey, ain't that a new dress?
Well, fancy you noticing. You haven't kissed me.
Yeah, it's easily fixed.
Oh, Nifty, there's no one in the world like you.
That's right.
Modest, aren't you?
I like that dress. Makes your eyes look blue.
Well, they are blue. Nifty,
Yeah?
how much do you love me?
Enough. We ain't going to go through all that again, are we?
Well, a girl likes to be told. Nifty, If you do love me like you say, why don't we get married?
Now, look, Carrie, we've been through this so many times. You don't seem to remember. I got a kid to put through college, and I ain't marrying anybody until he's educated. And ain't going to be any of your cheap colleges either. It's a law college. It's going to cost plenty. Chris is going to have all the things that I missed out on.
Why couldn't we do it together, Nifty? I'd help. I'd be glad to.
No. The kid is my responsibility.
Okay, skip it.
You know what's wrong with you? You're jealous of the kid.
Don't flatter yourself. I don't care what you do. Jealous? Of all the crust. Get out, will you? I'm tired of looking at you.
Oh, Carrie, you got to give me a chance. I ain't staying in this carnival racket always. And when I get ready to settle down, if you still want me, you'll find me with that ring in my pocket and minister in the box.
Guess I'll be hanging around until then. The waiting gets kind of hard sometimes.
You're all right, Carrie. Come on now, give us a kiss. I got to go back to my tent and get ready for the next show. Pucker up, kid.
You big bum.
Hello, Dad.
Chris, what are you doing here?
I came for a visit. You don't seem very glad to see me.
I'm not. This ain't no place for you. What'd you do, run off from Ella and your grandpa?
Oh, not exactly. They knew I was coming. I kind of got to missing you, so I looked up in Billboard where your carnival show was playing, and, well, I rode out on the first freight.
Freight? What's the good of me shelling out good money to get you educated if you're going to be a bum?
I'm not going to be a bum. School's out for the summer. Gee whiz, Dad, I didn't want to go against you, but I'm not cut out for a farm. I want to travel and see things the way you do.
I don't want you to travel with me.
Well, what's the matter? I'm your son. I've got a right to be with you once in a while, haven't I?
Yeah, sure you have, but I want to keep you away from this kind of life. I want something different for you, kid.
What's good enough for my old man is good enough for me.
Well, you sure have grown up since I seen you last. So you're 19, ain't you?
Oh, going on 20, and big for my age at that.
Why'd you come here, son? What are you after? What's on your mind?
Well, I thought I might get a job for the summer doing something around the show.
Well, get that out of your head right now. What do you suppose I've been sending money to keep you in school for? To end with messing up around with carnivals? No, sir. You're going to amount to something. You got to, Chris. You ain't forgetting about being a lawyer, are you?
No, of course not. But this is vacation. Oh, look, Dad. It isn't going to hurt me any to pal around with you this summer. I can always go home if it doesn't work out. Ask the Colonel if he won't give me a job with the show. Just for the summer. Okay, Dad?
Well, it's against my better judgment. But okay, son. Carrie, you and me got something to say to each other. Sit down.
Yeah?
What's the idea of giving the kid a drink a little while ago?
Oh, he asked for one.
Well, you didn't have to give it to him. You know better than that. If he asked you, he was just showing off, trying to be a big man.
He's not exactly in the cradle anymore, Nifty. He's old enough to know what he's doing.
Well, I won't have him drinking, even if I have to break his neck.
Nifty, what's eating you? You haven't been yourself since the kid came.
Well, man looks different to himself when he starts looking at himself through his son's eyes. My kid thinks I'm something to look up to, so I gotta be something for him to look up to.
Well, a reformed character. Why, you big jerk, you can't give a zebra new stripes.
Now listen, Carrie, all this talk ain't doing no good. I've been thinking things over, and I decided that the only thing to do is lay our cards on the table. Now, you and me have been pulling together for some time, and you're a good kid. But it comes down to this. We're through.
Through? Nifty, you don't mean that. You can't mean that. We've had fights before.
This ain't something I'm doing on the spur of the moment. I've been doing a lot of thinking about it. And that's the way it's got to be. From here on in.
Nifty, don't do this. Don't you know how it is with me? I don't know what I'll do without you.
Now, don't get me wrong, Carrie. I'm not ditching you as far as the show's concerned. You're a swell little dancer, and your job is good as long as you're with the outfit.
Thanks. So you're walking out. You're really doing it.
Yep.
You don't love me anymore.
I didn't say that, but I got to think of Chris.
Chris!
He's never been around carnival people before. He's used to a different class.
So that's it. I'm not good enough to associate with your precious Chris. Well, I'll show you whether I'm good enough or not. I'll show you.
Take it easy. That ain't gonna get you anywhere.
Sure, take it easy. Don't upset Nifty Miller. He's the kingpin around here. He can walk in and out of anyone's life whenever His Royal Highness desires.
Okay, Carrie. Let's leave it that way. So long.
Hey, what's the matter, Carrie? You crying in there? Where's Nifty? Just heard his voice.
He's gone.
Oh, well, don't cry about it. You've had fights before.
Not like this one. We're through, Lou. All washed up.
Huh?
Turn out the spotlight, wash off the grease paint, and go home. I've played my scene, and it's curtains.
Why, the big stiff. Who does he think he is, anyhow?
Just Nifty Miller. But that's plenty terrific, and he knows it. It was over that drink I gave Chris. I was just trying to make friends with the kid.
Ah, they make me sick, both of them. Coming around here with their airs.
Are you sure they both make you sick? I've noticed Chris has been kind of tagging you around lately.
Ah, he's a baby.
Oh, you haven't seen 20 yourself yet, kid.
Sure, but I'm carnival, not society. Why, I could be 40 compared to him.
Well, you want to help me pack?
Pack? You're not leaving the show.
The only thing I can do now.
Say, why don't you do something to turn the laugh on Nifty?
Do something to Nifty? Well, like how?
Well, he's so crazy about his precious kid, isn't he? We ought to be able to figure out something. I might try my charms on Chris.
Lou, that's a swell idea. Would you do that? Would you help me get the kid away from Nifty?
Sure I would, Carrie. At least I'd try. He might not fall for it, you know.
Why, he can't take his eyes off you already. You're the prettiest thing he's ever seen. And he's green as grass. You can pick him off like nothing.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just a bum hunch. I don't see how to help you any.
Listen, Lou, you're fed up with this outfit, ain't you? You said so yourself time and again. And if you had the steak, you'd blow tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you can say that again. You wouldn't be able to see my dust.
Okay, Lou. You make this kid fall for you, and I'll give you $100.
$100? Holy cow.
Is it a deal?
It's a deal. Chris? Hey, Chris, wait for me.
Oh. Hello, Lou.
Say, where you going?
Just walking.
Mind if I come along?
No, of course not.
Gee, swell night, isn't it? Oh, just look at that moon.
Yeah, it sure is. I like to walk at night. Everything seems different somehow. It's like another world.
You're a funny kid.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. The things you say.
I'm glad you came along.
Why?
Guess I just wanted to get acquainted with you, that's all. You seem kind of different from all the rest. Somehow, I know you think I'm crazy, but, well, it seemed as though the first time I saw you, something happened to me inside. And I thought, this is going to be important.
Well, that's a new line.
Oh, it isn't a line. See, I haven't known very many girls. I never had much time for them. I'm afraid I haven't got a line.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I was just thinking how beautiful you are in the moonlight.
You're very sweet.
You're very lovely. Do you think it would be all right if I kissed you?
Well, I couldn't answer that beforehand.
All right, Lou.
All right, Chris.
Hey, Happy, you seen Chris anyplace?
The last I seen him, he was riding on the Ferris wheel with Lou.
We better get off, Chris. Your father will be looking everywhere for you.
Oh, let's not get off. Let's never get off. Let's ride round and round with the Ferris wheel until the world ends. I love you, Lou.
Do you, Chris?
Lou, how do you feel? You never say... I'd like you to say you love me.
Oh, gee, I love everything tonight. The stars and the carnival and the Ferris wheel and... Oh, say, come on, we gotta get off and go to work.
Oh, but Lou,
Come on, Chris, there's Nifty down there.
All right, Lou. Have it your own way. Have it your own way.
Why are you sitting all alone, Nifty? Where's Chris?
I don't know. Busy someplace. What's it to you, Carrie?
Oh, nothing. Only I think I'd be wondering if I was you. He's probably up on top of the hill again. Spends a lot of time up there lately.
Oh! Say, I'm all out of breath.
There you are, my lady. The world at your feet and the stars at your fingertips. Let's sit down against that boulder. Something I want to ask you.
Say, you look kind of serious.
I've never been more serious in my life.
Well, I'm waiting to hear what you have to say.
I don't know exactly how to say it. Not funny. All my life I've thought someday there'd be one special girl. And I'd take her on top of the tallest hill I could find. And then I'd say, it's you I've been waiting for. That world down there will be the most wonderful place in the world. If you'll put your hand in mine and go into it with me. And if you won't, and I have to go back to it alone, I'll be lonely all the rest of my life.
Chris. Chris. Oh, my darling.
Carrie, are you telling me the truth? You gave that little tramp $100 to go after Chris?
I was mad. I don't know what I was thinking about. Oh, Nifty, I don't know what to do.
Never mind, Carrie. I know what to do. When they come back from their walk, I'll be waiting for them.
Well, we're almost home. Chris, there's something I gotta tell you. I've been wanting to tell you, but I just didn't know how.
You mean about Carrie and the $100?
You knew about that?
I've known all along. People who live in tents don't really have secrets from each other.
You hate me, don't you?
Oh, Lou, what does it matter how it started? That's behind us. The only important thing is how we take it from here.
Oh, Chris, I love you so much. I just couldn't say it before. It just didn't seem honest. But you knew it, didn't you? You knew that, too.
Yeah, I knew that, too. Will you marry me, Lou?
Oh, thanks so much, Chris. I'd love to.
Well, guess that calls for a kiss.
Chris, take your hands off that woman.
Hello, Father. Lou, go on back.
No, I'll stick with you, Chris.
No, this is between my father and me. You go back.
All right, Chris.
I'm glad you met us, Dad. Now you know I don't have to hide it from you anymore. I would have told you about Lou and me when we first fell in love, but I didn't think you'd understand.
I'd have understood all right. I know Lou. I've known her kind most of my life.
You don't know Lou. You wouldn't speak about her like that. I love her, and she loves me. You might as well get used to it.
She loves you. You bet she loves you. She loves you so much she took $100 to get you to fall for her. You didn't know that, did you?
Yes, I knew it, and it doesn't matter. She was doing it for Carrie. Someone had to do something for Carrie when you walked out on her.
Carrie is my business and nobody else's.
You thought you were too good for her, didn't you? You think you're too good for everyone in the carnival. Well, okay, I guess that makes you too good for me, too.
Son, don't you understand why? Don't you know why? It was for you. I want something better for you.
What's wrong with the people here? So they're rough and ready and short on grammar. But they're honest and they're loyal. And they'll stick to you when you're in trouble.
You got to marry the right kind of a girl from a good family with class to her. Lou ain't good enough for you.
I love her. I'm going to marry her.
You fool, you don't have to marry her kind.
If you weren't my father, I'd kill you for that.
I'd like to knock your block off. Maybe a good licking would bring you to your senses.
I don't care what you do to me. But you're not going to say anything against her. Dad, she isn't like that at all. She's wonderful and good and clean. She's everything a man would look up to and honor in a woman. She told me about the $100 herself. She didn't mean to get into it. She was just trying to comfort Carrie. She wouldn't have taken the money.
Well, she'd better. She'll need it. She's fired.
Fired?
That's right. We don't want her with the show anymore.
Then you don't want me either, do you?
You're staying here.
You can't make me.
You'll see whether I can make you or not. You're my son, and you'll do as I say. She's leaving, and you're staying. That's all. Now then, what are you going to do about that?
Dearly beloved, we are gathered together in the presence of God in this company to bring together this man and this woman in the bonds of holy matrimony.
Yeah, I'll help you in the car, Mrs. Miller.
Mrs. Miller. Mrs. Chris Miller. Gee, it's a lovely sounding name. Think the Colonel would mind if we turn on the radio?
No, I don't think so. It was swell of him to loan us the car.
Do you think he guessed?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Too bad we got no time for a real honeymoon.
Oh, gee, Chris, I love that song. It's a nice song to listen to on our wedding night. I don't want to walk without you. Kind of says everything, doesn't it, Chris?
I guess it does at that.
Let's remember everything about tonight. The way the stars looked and how sleepy the justice was and the funny little house he lived in. And the way we drove back together. Will you remember all those things about your wedding, Mr. Miller?
I'll remember you.
Hello, Lou. I see you packing.
That shouldn't surprise you. You fired me, didn't you?
I should have killed you. It's all I can do to keep from shoving my fist right down your throat.
Oh, save it, Nifty. I don't scare easy.
How much?
How much what? What are you talking about?
You got married tonight, didn't you? What's your price? You knew I'd pay off to get him out of it.
Look, I love Chris Nifty. That's why I married him. It's about time you learned that just because Chris is your son, that don't mean you own him. He's got a right to live his own life. You hadn't tried to boss him, so he might not be running away with me tonight.
Running away? Where do you think you're going?
We're not particular, but we won't stay here.
Chris ain't going away.
Yeah? How'll you stop him? You can't lock him up in a closet like he was a 2-year-old.
Ah, Lou, don't do this. Don't take Chris away from me. Don't you see you'll ruin him? He ain't just an ordinary carnival bum. He's got a future. With the right education, he can be a big lawyer. Lou, I'll give you enough to put you on Easy Street. You can find plenty of other guys to marry you.
Nifty, it's no use.
He ain't your kind. He's only a green country kid that don't know what it's all about. And when he wakes up, he'll never forgive you for tricking him into marrying you.
I didn't trick him, you know that. I'm not taking Chris away from you, Nifty. He's coming because he wants to. And if you don't believe that, talk to him yourself. See if you can make him change his mind.
And if I do, you'll step out?
I'll step out and it won't cost you a cent. Why, I'll even...
Ready, darling? Oh. Hello, Dad.
You leave us alone?
Sure. Sure, I'll leave you alone.
What's the matter, Lou?
Oh, nothing, Chris. I'll be outside. If you want to change your mind about coming, it's all right, you know.
I won't be changing my mind. And you're staying right here. You're my wife now, and anything he has to say, he can say to both of us. Well, what's on your mind, Dad?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Go away with her and don't ever let me see you again. She's got you. She can keep you. You ain't worth saving.
Okay, Dad. Come on, Lou.
Nifty, I couldn't help hearing, Nifty. It's me, Carrie.
Carrie. Carrie!
Let go of my arm. You're hurting me.
There's a question I want you to answer, and if you lie to me, I swear I'll kill you. Did you get that little devil to take him away from me? Answer me!
No. No!
You're lying. You know you are.
Nifty!
You don't think I mean it, do you? Well, you'll see whether I mean it or not. You'll never double-cross me again. I'll learn you.
Nifty, stop it. You're... In God's name, man, what are you doing?
He tried to kill me. He tried to kill me.
You're all right, Carrie. Get back to your own tent.
You don't know what she done.
No matter what she done, you've got no right to do a thing like this. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Nifty, as long as we've worked together, I never saw you lose control of yourself like that before.
I wish I'd killed her. I'm sorry, Hap. I gotta get out of this carnival. You'll have to take over for me.
You don't mean that, Nifty. What'll you do? Where'll you go?
What difference does it make where I go? All I know is I'm through with trooping. It's lost me my son. That's what it's done. It's lost me my son.
I'll get it, honey. Why, Nifty, how on earth did you...
I just dropped by for a visit, if it's all right.
Sure. Of course it's all right. Come on in and let me take your coat. Oh, Chris! Chris, surprise!
Who is it? Dad. Dad, it's good to see you.
Well, I just happened to be in Chicago, in your neighborhood. I thought I'd see how you was getting along.
Oh, we're so glad. Gee, it's been almost a year, and that's too long. Oh, excuse me a minute. I got something on the stove.
You're looking better than I ever seen you, son.
Thanks, Dad. I'm feeling good. I got a job at nights. I have to leave pretty soon, as a matter of fact. Daytimes, I'm in school. I'm going to be a lawyer yet. Lou's working in a store.
Lou's doing that?
Yeah, that's right. She wants me to get through school, and that was the only way we could manage it.
I guess I made a mistake. Guess I was a little too hard on Lou.
Well, that's over now. We can be a family now, can't we, Dad?
Son,
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Say, we've had a couple of letters from the carnival asking about you. They want you back pretty bad.
No, I'm all through with that.
Through with all that? And you the best barker in the business? Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, and see the greatest little show on earth? Why, that's the blood in your veins and the light in your eyes. You can't give that up. Oh, by the way, Dad...
Chris, can you come here a minute?
Oh, excuse me, Dad. Have a chair. And, there's some of your favorite cigars in that box. They might be a little stale. They've been waiting for you a long time.
Thanks, son.
What is it, Lou?
We better let Carrie go in alone.
How does he look?
A little too thin. He's been down on his luck. Oh, he's got to go back to the carnival. They need him, and he needs them.
He may not want to see me. Why don't you let me sneak out the back door?
Nothing doing. You're going in. Go on.
Nifty.
Carrie. How'd you get here?
Oh, I was just passing through town with the show. We've missed you, Nifty.
Hey, ain't that a new dress?
It is. It is a new dress. Oh, fancy you noticing.
It's a nice dress. Blue always was your color, Carrie.
Oh, Nifty. It's been so long. I've been waiting so long. And any day now they'll be calling me an old maid.
Are we going to go through that again?
But you said when Chris was through school, and he's going to be through any year now.
You still want me after the way I treated you?
We both made mistakes, Nifty. We let our tempers get away from us, but that doesn't change how we feel inside. Nifty.
Huh?
Aren't you going to kiss me?
Sure I am. Pucker up, kid.
Say, you two, why don't you get married?
Now you're talking. What do you say, Carrie? Well, come on. Don't keep me waiting. We got a train to catch if we're going to catch up to the show. We got to see about a preacher and a license. What do you say?
Oh, you big bum.
Atta girl, I knew you'd say yes. But come on, let's see about the handcuffs, and then we'll head for the Midway. It's warm weather. Ought to be a good night. Can't you smell the popcorn and the peanuts and the elephants? Can't you hear that music playing and see those crowds? Ladies and gentlemen, step right up and see the biggest little show on earth. For 10 cents, 1/10 of a dollar. The most stupendous, the most colossal, the most terrific show on earth. Come on, Carrie. Let's go home.
The curtain has fallen on The Barker, but though the play is over, I do not leave you. I linger in your memory to return next week to quicken your hearts with another great love story. The play that shall speak for me then is The Prisoner of Zenda by Anthony Hope. Till then, till curtain time next week, I wish you love and happiness. My name is Romance.
You've been listening to Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was The Barker by Kenyon Nicholson, adapted for radio by Gene Holloway, with script supervision by Albert R. Perkins. The play was directed by Marx Loeb, music conducted by Charles Paul. The part of Nifty was played by Eric Dressler. Carrie was Henny K. Backus. Lou was Peggy Zinke. Chris was Jackie Kelk, and Hap was Joseph Boland. Listen next week at the same time when we'll bring you our next great romance, The Prisoner of Zenda. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Columbia brings you Romance.
They call me Romance. I'm the dream you carry in the heart of your youth. I'm all the legends told down the ages in the name of love. I'm one with each of you. Part of the lover in all of you. I am Romance. Tonight I bring you Elizabeth of Austria, starring Miss Alice Frost, a legend of royalty, written for radio by Gene Holloway. Many lovely legends have been woven about the brilliant and beautiful Elizabeth, Empress of Austria, Queen of Hungary. The one we're to hear tonight begins in Vienna. Not the gay, carefree Vienna of bygone days, but the cruel, grim Vienna of the present. It's New Year's Eve, 1942. A mantle of snow covers the city, and in their graves, under the winter moon, Vienna's dead lie sleeping. But sometimes, from their deep, dreamless sleep, even the dead are awakened.
And for your information, gentlemen, this is the grave of Elizabeth Wittelsbach, consort of Franz Joseph and Empress of Austria. Born on Christmas Eve, 1837, died September 10th, 1898. She was considered the most beautiful woman of her day. Further on, we have the grave of another famous.
Who's there? Who has awakened me? Strange. I could have sworn someone called. Who's there? This is Elizabeth. Can't be Austria wanting me again. I've given all my years to Austria. I no longer have anything to give. She had my heart, my dreams, my whole life, long ago. If it isn't Austria, then why have I awakened? What night is this? I've heard those bells before. I've seen those stars. Of course. This is the night Francie asked me to marry him. Those are the very bells that rang that night. That's the same moonlight that fell across my heart. I should hear the sleigh bells soon. Carl will be driving. He'll sweep up the drive and jump out, smile down at me, and it'll be the beginning of the world again. Oh, no. What am I saying? Carl is dead. The night is gone. I do hear sleigh bells. Do we live our lives over? Is that what's to happen? But why this night out of all the others? why the night that I broke my heart. But it is the night. It is Carl. It is the night. It is Carl.
Cece, hop in quickly. We'll be late.
Oh, yes, Carl. Yes, of course.
Here we are. Careful now.
Thank you, Carl.
All right. You are looking very beautiful tonight, Cece. You'll be the belle of the ball.
Thank you, Cousin Carl. It's my first ball, you know. I'd like to be the belle.
Cece.
Please, Carl, I don't think you should call me Cece anymore. That was all right when we were children, but I'm not a child anymore.
Does that make you happy not to be a child anymore?
Oh, yes. Now I can wear beautiful dresses and jewels and have my hair up and go to balls and have thousands of suitors.
That's just about what I expected.
Why are you stopping?
Cece, there's something I must tell you. Will you listen very carefully?
Yes, Carl, of course.
Tonight, my brother, Franz Joseph, is going to ask you to marry him.
Francie asked me to marry him? Oh, but that's not possible. Why, I've hardly seen him. He only arrived here 2 days ago, and... Carl, are you sure? What shall I say? What shall I do?
He will offer you the royal flowers at the cotillion tonight. If you accept, you pledge yourself to him.
Carl, what do you want me to do?
Whatever will make you happy.
I don't know what'll make me happy.
Oh, Cece, if you were older, if I knew what to say to you.
The Emperor of Austria, and he wants to marry me. Can you imagine, Carl, me? Oh, Carl, isn't it exciting? Isn't it exciting, Carl?
Yes, Cece, of course it is. Well, we must be getting on. You have an appointment with an emperor.
Mama, the Emperor's cotillion is next. What shall I do if he asks me?
You will accept, naturally.
But, Mother, I like Carl better than Francie. Really, I do.
Elizabeth, you naturally prefer Francie. Francie is Emperor of Austria. Here comes the Emperor. Stand straight, Elizabeth.
Oh, Mama.
Will you do me the honor, Cousin Elizabeth?
Oh, Francie,
Take Francie's arm, Elizabeth.
It is my honor, Your Majesty. Why are you standing out here by yourself, Carl? This is our dance.
Oh, I just wanted to think a little. We were all children here together. There was always something magic about this place. Tonight, suddenly everyone has grown up. It isn't magic anymore.
Your cheeks are wet. Have you been crying?
Oh, it's the snow. It was snowing a while ago.
I thought I wanted to grow up, but I don't, after all. I'm not ready yet. I want to go back. Oh, Carl, show me the way to go back.
There isn't any way back now, Cece. We've lost it. I am his brother. Good night, Cece. I must be getting back. The Emperor will escort you home.
Carl. Oh, Carl, don't go. I'll be so lonely without you. Carl. Carl.
Good night, Cece. Goodbye.
Carl. Carl, don't go. Carl.
Cece, wait. Where are you going?
I thought I might take a ride, Francie.
But you must receive people this afternoon. You're an empress now, you know. You have certain duties.
But I received people this morning, and yesterday afternoon, and yesterday morning, and the day before that.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I must insist.
Franz, where are you going?
I have to go to Munich for the week.
Couldn't I go with you?
I'm afraid not. Your place is here in my absence. And in your condition, it is not wise for you to travel.
Your Majesty, you have a fine baby.
Francie, why am I not permitted to take care of my own children?
Sorry, darling, but it seemed wiser for my mother to take care of them. You see, dear, she's a little more experienced in such matters.
But Francie...
You see this differently, Elizabeth, when you think about it.
Please. Please.
You must receive people.
You will ride only once a week.
You're an empress now. Conduct yourself as one.
Don't talk so loudly.
Don't run through the halls.
Don't wiggle around like that.
Don't laugh so much.
Don't cry so much.
Don't ask for your children. Don't.
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 I can't stand it any longer. I can't stand it.
I tell you, I can't stand any more, Father. For 4 years now, I've been almost a prisoner here.
You have not been a prisoner, Sissy. You have been an empress.
Father, there's something I must tell you.
So?
I don't love Francie anymore. Perhaps I never did love him.
I don't think you mean that.
I do mean it. I'm in love with someone else. Oh, Father, I don't know what to do. I'm so in love with someone else. Oh, Carl. Carl, darling. I hoped you'd be waiting here for me. I came as soon as I could get away.
I've been waiting for hours. I was afraid you might come early and I'd miss you. Here, give me your hand. We'll walk down beside the river.
You haven't kissed me.
Oh, my darling. It's so beautiful. So very beautiful.
You love me, don't you, Carl? Say you love me.
I love you, Cece.
Say it again.
I love you. Love you. Love you. Oh, what good are words? We don't need words, not us.
When I'm lonely, I can remember the words. And then I'm not lonely anymore. You see, when I go back there, inside those walls, it's like a prison. Nothing outside is real. All I can take inside are the words you said, and the way you looked when you said them. Look, Carl. The sun's going down. Isn't it beautiful? It's like a picture in one of my old fairy tale books. It's funny, isn't it? When I was married, they said I was a fairy tale princess.
You were? You had a gold carriage and 6 white horses. Your dress was moonlight and mist, and there were stars in your hair and dreams in your eyes. I watched you ride by to your wedding. I was in the street. You didn't see me, but I saw you.
But it was not a fairy tale. We did not live happily ever after.
You're shivering. Here, button your cape around.
Oh, Carl, I'm frightened. What's to become of us? Do you know the answer?
Yes, I think I do. Would you leave Francie, Cece?
Leave Francie?
I may be mad, I don't know, but I can't watch you suffer anymore. They're killing you slowly. You could get a divorce.
Leave Austria? Leave my children?
We'll be married in Spain or Paris or Italy, someplace where the sun is warm and the people are gay. Then we'll go around the world to China and the Indies and England and America. You shall be my queen and I'll be your slave. And you need never be heartsick or lonely again. Will you come, Cece?
I don't know. I must think.
I am going tonight. With you or without you, Cece. This can't go on. When I kiss you, a crown trembles in the balance. We must set it at rest. Either we must have all or nothing.
You must not go alone. I couldn't face the years without you. If I'd never known love, if I'd never known you, I could see you. And now, oh no. Carl, I will go with you. I will go with you. Franz, there's no need to keep going over and over it. I'm leaving you. I'm going away with Carl.
You don't know what you're saying.
I do know, very well. There's nothing between you and me any longer, Franz. Not even friendship.
And there's no use appealing to you as a husband.
No use at all.
How did I fail you? When did I fail you?
What does it matter how or when it happened? Carl is my only chance for happiness, and I'm taking that chance. There's nothing further to talk about, Franz.
You're mistaken. There's a kingdom to talk about.
It's your kingdom. I've had very little part of it. I'm sure it won't miss me.
How long have you loved Carl?
I think I grew up loving him. I just didn't realize it. You don't know what love is, Franz. Not this kind of love. Every time he leaves me, a little of my heart dies.
And what if it does? Is it to be placed above your name and your honor?
It is my name and my honor.
You see, I don't know about love. But that's not true, Elizabeth. I knew about love. That evening, when I offered you the flowers. In my heart. And each day that has started with your smile and ended with your kiss, I've known a little more about love.
Then it was a selfish love. You never shared it with me.
I thought you knew. I have no time to be a lover. I have an empire on my mind. Perhaps I've been unseeing, Elizabeth. I'll try to do better. I'll try to be more of a husband.
No, Franz. It's too late. I'm going away with Carl. I'm leaving tonight.
That is your final word?
That is my final word.
Very well, Elizabeth. I would say nothing more to you. You'll excuse me now, I'm sure.
Come in.
Good evening, Elizabeth.
Father, I was wondering if you'd come to say goodbye to me.
It's rather dark in here. Wouldn't you like the lamps lit?
No. Carl will be here soon. It'd be foolish to light them for so short a time. I've been sitting here thinking about the fun we used to have when we were children.
Take off your cape. You're not going anywhere tonight.
Father, please, I don't want to fight you, too.
Elizabeth, will you believe me when I say your happiness is closer to me than my own happiness? Will you believe me when I tell you I'd like to say, take this man, make him your kingdom if you will? Will you believe that? I've seen a great deal of living, Elizabeth. Bear with me a moment. You are Austria's empress. When you knelt beside Franz in the cathedral, you made an oath. An oath that would bind you. Remember the words? From this day forward. With that oath, you became part of a throne. You ceased being a personality belonging to yourself. You inscribed your name in history on the page marked Austria.
Father, listen to me. When I came here, I was a child. I didn't know the meaning of love. I was 15. Everything was a game.
I know
No one
it was
said
hard
to
on
me,
you. But none of this
think
can be
carefully.
changed. None of it.
No one said to me, think carefully, Elizabeth. This is for all your life.
I know it was hard. It can't be changed, my daughter.
If I sang in the halls, I was chastised publicly. If I smiled at one of the courtiers, it was the occasion for a family consultation. If I enjoyed riding with any particular riding master, he was dismissed. I tried to lose myself and my children. But they were taken from me. Slowly, I found myself turning to ice, not caring anymore. And then Carl returned.
Whatever Carl has meant to you must be forgotten.
Oh, Father, you don't know what you're asking. I hadn't seen him for 4 years. And then one morning, there he was, smiling at me. And the heart that I thought was dead was pounding inside me.
Elizabeth, love bought at the cost of a nation's dignity. Love that must live in the shadows is something that falls far short of love.
You're fighting me with words when there are no words. Do you think I can go back to my old life, knowing what I might have had? Do you think I can live and bear that?
My blood runs through your heart. My thoughts gave you birth. I think you can. You see only two people involved, when really the honor of an empire is threatened, the stability of a throne shaken.
No.
No, that's not true. You're making it more serious than it is.
Elizabeth, do you remember when you were very small? How you used to wear my soldier hat? You would march into my bedroom and look longingly at my sword. And though you tried and tried, it was years before you could lift it. And then one day, when you could lift it, I had to tell you that women didn't go to war. And you ran away and cried. Well, I was wrong. There is an hour, perhaps in every woman's life, when she must go to war against herself. There is a sword in front of you again, Sissy. A sword with two names on the hilt. Two names that must stand between you and Carl forever.
Two names?
One is the name of your son, Rudolph.
Rudolph?
Someday Rudolph will rule Austria. He must not be forced to speak of his mother in whispers. Will you give him for heritage the thought that thrones are unimportant compared with personal pleasure?
I can't answer that. You know there's no answer for that. Rudolph must find his own happiness.
You are his mother. You owe it to him to help him find it.
And the other name on that sword?
I don't know the other name. It is the name of the next Empress of Austria who will wear your crown. The empresses who ruled before you gave you a crown you could wear with dignity. You must cherish it. Keep it well, so that when you pass it on, the next empress will wear it proudly. That is the sword you must raise, Sissy. That is the challenge you must answer. Rudolph and Austria.
Rudolph and Austria. Oh, Carl. Carl. Am I never to see him again? Never to know the feeling of his arms strong about me? To feel my heart grow warm at the sight of him?
No, Sissy. Never again. He must be outside now. I'll send him in. You'll want to tell him goodbye. Come in, Carl.
Carl. Oh, Carl, hold me close. There's something I must tell you.
I know. I knew it was only a game we were playing this afternoon. Some dreams are too beautiful ever to come true.
Where will you go?
I don't know. Someplace a long way from here, someplace I've never been, where there are no memories.
Yes, you can do that. But I will have to sit in the garden and walk by the river, live in these rooms, and all the rest of my days will go single file into loneliness.
Don't cry. It's been beautiful. Don't weep for us as though we were dead. I've loved you all my life and always will. Each morning when you awake, you will know that somewhere I am thinking of you and sending you my love. Each night as you go to sleep, you can know that somewhere in my dreams, I'm waiting for you. There will be only you for me, now and in whatever times may come. Now they're waiting for you downstairs. There's a reception, you know. It's New Year's Eve.
I'd forgotten. I don't really feel up to a reception.
Your father will take you down. I'll be on my way. Goodbye, my darling.
Oh, Carl! Carl!
Come, Elizabeth. Here, I will light the lamps now. You will want to straighten your hair.
How will I spend the years? What will I do with them, Father?
They will go faster than you dream. You'll have your children to think of, and Rudolph's life to guide. He'll be falling in love some fine day, too. You'll have to know the right things to say to him.
I've given up a great deal for Rudolph tonight. For Rudolph and that next Empress. They had better do me proud. Oh, poor Father. I've given you a bad time these past few weeks, haven't I?
You'll never know how bad, unless, God forbid, Rudolph shows you someday.
Rudolph will love wisely and well. He must. He must. Rudolph, your father asked me to speak with you.
All right, Mother, you don't have to tell me what it's about. Trouble with Father is he's forgotten what it's like to be in love.
Rudolph, you must give up this woman.
Oh, Mother, can't you understand it? It isn't something you can sit down and rationalize it. It isn't anything you can change. Oh, you don't understand. You'll never understand. You've never been in love like this.
No, you're right. I'll never understand. I've never been in love like this.
Mother, I love Marie Vitsura. I love her more than my life. I never meant to look for love. I never wanted it. But now I cannot live without it.
Rudolph, I must ask you not to see this girl again. You're a prince of the House of Habsburg. In your hands is the dignity of the entire lineage. There is a price one has no right to pay for happiness.
Very well, Mother. I will make you a promise. I will see Marie Vitsura once more, and then never again.
When will you tell her? When are you seeing her?
Tomorrow night, in Meiling Castle.
Elizabeth! Elizabeth, my dear, wake up.
Francie, what are you doing up at this hour? Francie, why are you looking like that? Francie, what is it?
Rudolph. And that girl. That Marie Vitsura.
Yes? Yes?
They've been found dead at Meyerling Castle.
Dead? Oh, no. Oh, no.
It is rather dark in here, Sissy.
Yes, Father, I know. I was sitting here thinking about the night Carl left. I was thinking about the crown, the people and the cities, all my heritage, to receive and to pass on. After all, what does it matter that my heart broke so long ago? No one has known or ever will know. What's that?
Those are the church bells, Elizabeth. Have you forgotten? It is New Year's Day. It is New Year's.
It must have been the bells that awakened me. It's New Year's night again. Strange how memories can live beyond the grave. How old scars can still throb. Oh, I'm glad I listened to Father that day. I'm glad this is another happy New Year in Vienna. But I wonder who sits upon my throne tonight. Who wears my crown?
Der Nationalsozialismus kennt keine Kompromisse. Für uns, hier was das Wort überhaupt nicht in der deutschen Sprache. Ein Bug, ein Reich, ein Führer. Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Sieg heil! Sieg heil!
Austria! Who wears my crown?
The curtain has fallen on Elizabeth of Austria, but though the play is over, I do not leave you. I linger in your memory, to return next week to quicken your hearts with another great love story. The play that shall speak for me then is Daddy Longlegs. Till then, till curtain time next week, I wish you love and happiness. My name is Romance.
You've been listening to Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was Elizabeth of Austria, a legend of royalty, written by Jean Holloway. The play was directed by Marx Loeb, script supervision by Albert R. Perkins. The music was conducted by Charles Paul. The part of Elizabeth was played by our star, Alice Frost, with Myron McCormick as Carl, Ed Jerome as Maximilian, and Peter Capell as Franz Joseph. Listen next week at this same time when we'll bring you our next great romance, Daddy Longlegs. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Columbia brings you romance.
My name is Romance, forever young, forever yours. I live in the tender love stories of today and in the nostalgic love stories of the past. I speak to the lover in all of you, signing myself from the heart. Tonight I bring you the famous old play, Daddy Longlegs, by Gene Webster, starring Florence Williams and Myron McCormick. It was first performed way back in 1914. It's a romantic story of a gentle, gracious time that has vanished, an era when wealthy gentlemen still wore frock coats and high silk hats, and when poor young girls dreamed of gallant suitors who would come and take them away forever from ugliness and cruelty. Our story begins in a proper setting, a grim, bleak building of gray stone, an orphan asylum. Into this dreary institution one day came Prince Charming. Of course, he didn't know he was Prince Charming. He thought he was Jarvis Pendleton, a trustee of the orphanage. But he very soon discovered otherwise.
Jarvis, I hate always to be begging, but there's one of the children here for whom I should so love to manage a future.
Playing Lady Bountiful again, Edith? Is that why you brought me here?
Yes. This one's a girl, Jarvis, and such a pretty one.
A girl? Oh, no. I let you persuade me to send a couple of boy orphans off to school, but I'm not going to get tangled up with any squally little girls.
Well, she's not exactly squally, or little, as a matter of fact.
I know. She has a good record.
She has the worst record of any child in the orphanage.
What? Not really.
She's disobedient and impertinent.
Just what is it you want me to do for this pretty, disobedient, impertinent young person?
I want you to send her to college.
College? From the John Grier Orphans' Home? Why, you're out of your mind. How old is she?
She's 18.
I thought they only kept them here until they were 14.
Judy Abbott was so unusually bright that Miss Lippard let her stay on and take care of the younger orphans. She's done remarkably well work in English at the village school. Her teachers say that she would make an author if she had the training.
Oh, no, I'm not going to wish that on the world. There are too many authors in it now for my taste.
You may be keeping down a genius.
No one keeps down a genius. She'd have been out of here long before this if she were one.
But she's only 18.
I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
But, Jarvis...
We all have a right to our prejudices. Now, I happen not to like girls. I never did, never will.
Oh, you're impossible.
Besides, suppose I did send this girl, this Judy, to college. Do you think she'd have a chance there? Do you think those college girls would take in a little outsider from an orphan asylum? I'd only be using my money to show her a life beyond her wildest dreams and then forbid her to enter it.
Jarvis, you could wave a wand and give her the whole world.
No. Society's thrown away your little Judy, and it's too late to pick up the pieces. Why are you looking at me like that?
Just a little disappointed, that's all. I thought you were such a different man. Jarvis, will you do me one favor?
Oh, what is it?
Will you just look at her?
Very well, I'll look at her, but I won't talk to her.
Come along. I'll point her out to you.
Judy, come on, tell us a story. Tell us Noah's Ark. Tell us about the 3 bears.
No, tell us one of the stories you make up yourself.
Some other time, children, please. Judy's so tired now. But this is the first time I've had a minute to myself since 5 o'clock this morning.
Then draw us a picture on the blackboard.
Here's the chalk.
Well, just one then. What shall I draw?
An elephant. A circus.
No, a trustee. One of those funny old ones who comes around for a visit and walks around like this. This won't do, Mrs. Lippett. This floor must be scrubbed.
All right. Now, there's his body. And there's his head.
Where's his gold watch chain?
There it is.
He looks just like an old June bug. Which one is it?
It's a portrait of any trustee.
Jerusha Abbott!
Oh, my, I've done it this time.
What is the meaning of this, Jerusha?
I heard what you said. Portrait of any trustee. Do you infer that I look like that?
Oh, no, Mr. Wyckoff. It's only a picture. I just did it to amuse the children.
To amuse the children? Mrs. Lippett, is this the kind of respect you teach?
How dare you make fun of a trustee of the John Grier home? Why, this home has given you every mouthful you ever ate. Well, I'll tell you this, Miss Jerusha Abbott. You'll be leaving here next month. You'll be put to work.
I'll be happy to go. Any place, anywhere will be better than this.
Why, you ungrateful, wretched...
Ungrateful? What have I got to be grateful for? I've always earned my living here. I've worked from the time I was a tiny child. Polished doorknobs, scrubbed floors, and taken care of the children. You haven't kept me here because you like me. You've kept me because it was cheaper than hiring someone else.
Why?
When I was 11 years old, someone wanted to adopt me. And you made her take another child because I was so useful. You didn't know I knew that, did you? Well, I'm glad to go. I don't care how hard it will be. I can make my way in the world. And thank you for that, I suppose. I know how to work. I've lived for 18 years in prison. What? I hate the John Grier Orphans Home.
Well, did the rest of you hear that?
Her voice carried into the hall very nicely. You know, I don't know when I've had such an entertaining afternoon.
Oh, Mr. Pendleton, to think this should happen the day you came.
Edith, was that the girl you were telling me about, the one you wanted me to look at?
Yes.
Well, then I'll do it. I'll send her to college. I only saw the back of her head, but I like her.
Mr. Pendleton, you can't be serious. Why, you couldn't possibly do such a thing.
You know, Mrs. Lippett, I think I know just what that girl meant about you. You're an old witch.
Mr. Pendleton!
Now, mind you, she's never to know who's doing it.
But she'll want to thank you.
Well, she can't. I won't have it. She's had to thank someone for every mouthful she ever ate. I wonder she didn't choke. She can go to college with my sister's girls.
Then you'll keep an eye on her progress?
From a distance. The faculty can let me know how she's coming along.
College doesn't do that. They only send marks and grades.
Well, she can write me a letter on the first of every month telling me about herself, just the way she'd write to her parents if she had any.
She'll have to know your name.
I'll tell her it's Smith, John Smith. Yes, she can address her letters to Mr. John Smith in care of my secretary. You can buy her some clothes and try to help her forget the word orphan. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go out and buy some cigars.
Cigars? What on earth for?
Well, I've just become a father. Well, I'll be hanged if I'm going to miss any of the traditions that go with that situation.
You mean I'm going to college just like any other girl? Who has a real father and mother?
Yes, my dear, you are.
Oh, I just can't believe it. Sounds like one of the fairy stories I make up for the children. Oh, Miss Pritchard, you've got to tell me who he is.
He's no one you know.
But he was here today. He was one of the visitors. Oh, I wish I could see him. I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for making my dreams come true. He must be quite old to be so understanding. Where is he now?
He's outside, waiting for his carriage. It's too dark for you to see his face. But look, see on the building there? That's his shadow.
Well, I've never had even the shadow of a father before. He's very tall, isn't he? I didn't know trustees ever had such long legs. I think I have a name for him, Miss Pritchard.
Yes? What is it?
I'm going to call him Daddy Longlegs.
You know, Edith, I believe I shall go down to the college and pay my nieces a visit.
Why don't you? You can see your ward, Judy, too, while you're at it.
Well, I guess I shall have to, since they're rooming together.
Oh, Judy, this is my Uncle Jarvis, Mr. Pendleton, Miss Abbott. How do you do, sir?
How do you do, Judy?
Oh, isn't this exciting? I've never been to a football game before in my life. You think Yale will win? I don't think I can stand it if they lose. Yale was your college, wasn't it, Mr. Pendleton?
Oh, yes, it was. I thought we'd agreed you to call me Jarvis.
Jarvis? Well, did you bring girls to the games when you went to Yale?
No, I never liked girls.
Oh, that's discouraging.
Oh, but then I never knew any like you, Judy.
That's better.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your dress.
You haven't danced very much, have you?
Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. I've never danced before in my life.
Oh, you don't mean it. I never would have guessed. Oh, Jarvis, stop the canoe, will you? I'd like to just look at the lake for a moment.
All right.
Listen to that piece they're playing at the hotel across the water. That's a love song, Jarvis.
Is it?
Have you ever been in love?
No. Have you?
No, not until now. Jarvis, I'm in love with you.
What?
Sorry, I guess that was the wrong thing to say, wasn't it?
Well, it was a sweet thing to say, Judy. I shall always remember it. It makes me feel quite young.
But you're not old, Jarvis.
I'm old enough to be your father. Well, perhaps we should start back. It's getting chilly. I want to get to bed early tonight. I have a train to catch in the morning.
You didn't tell me you were going back in the morning. You didn't tell me.
Well?
What do you mean, well?
How did you like her? After all, you must have found her changed. She's been at school a year.
Well, she has the same mass of hair, the same pug nose.
I suppose you'll be going up soon again?
Oh, no, that won't be necessary for a while. She's a very conscientious letter writer, isn't she? There's 19 letters here for me to catch up on.
What kind of letters does she write?
Shocking letters.
I don't believe it.
She makes love to me.
That's ridiculous. The child thinks you're her father.
The child knows perfectly well that I'm not her father.
She thinks you're an old man.
I'm not an old man. I won't be treated like an old man.
Oh, Jarvis.
What's so funny?
You are. Why, you poor darling. You're in love with a girl.
Well, that's ridiculous. She's a baby.
Oh, come now. You're talking to an old friend, remember?
I'm not in love with her. Will you stop harping on that subject? My interest is purely fatherly.
Oh, it's the funniest thing I ever heard of. The confirmed bachelor. Oh, Jarvis.
You're developing into a very annoying woman. What the idea? It's fantastic. I never heard of such nonsense. But I'll tell you one thing. She's a very attractive girl.
Oh, darling, you don't have to tell me. It's written all over your face.
Judy! Judy Abbott!
Yes? Why, Jarvis. Jarvis, how long have you been here? Oh, this is Jimmy. Jimmy McBride, Mr. Pendleton.
Hello.
How do you do, sir?
Jimmy came up to take me to the sophomore dance tonight. He's a wonderful dancer.
You're quite a turkey trotter yourself, Jude.
Oh.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, sorry, sir. That just means she's pretty good. Suppose I go over to the hotel and change, Judy.
All right.
Will you be ready at 7?
Exactly at 7.
Good. Glad to have met you, sir.
Thank you.
So long.
Well, Judy, you're looking fit.
Thank you. So are you. See, I haven't seen you since my freshman year when I scared you out of my life.
Let's walk a bit. Have you time?
Certainly.
Tell me, have you learned anything here?
Have I learned anything? The area of the convex surface of the frustum of a regular pyramid is half the
product of the sum of the perimeters of its bases by the altitude of either of its trapezoids.
That is truly impressive.
I've finished physiology. I know all about your insides. I hope you never touch alcohol, Jarvis. It does dreadful things to your liver.
Oh, I'll make a note of that.
Did you know that we used to be monkeys?
I've heard rumors.
Of course, the Pendletons must be descended from very superior monkeys with beautiful silky hair and extra long tails.
Did you gather that from my nieces or from me?
Well, you all have the manner born.
Are you happy, Judy?
Well, yes, of course. Are you?
Why, naturally. Why do you ask?
You asked first. It seemed the polite response.
That's a pretty dress you're wearing.
I'm glad you like it. It's a present from Daddy Longlegs.
What sort of man is that guardian of yours?
Well, he's sort of tall and skinny. He's getting a little shaky now and has to walk with a cane. He's bald up here, but he has a nice fringe of white hair all around here. And I love him more than anything else in the whole world.
That must make him very happy.
He doesn't know it. I wouldn't tell him to his face. That would spoil him. But when I get through college, I'm going to live with him.
You are? Does he want you to?
Well, not now, but he will when he knows me better.
Well, maybe you'll change your mind when you know him better.
No, I won't. I have it all planned. I'm going to read out loud to him, plump up his pillow, and warm his slippers, and wrap up his throat with flannel and camphor-rated oil.
Does he ever come to see you? No, why not?
He doesn't care anything about me, really. I just pretend he does. You see, you have to love someone, and, well, he's all I have, so I make believe he cares.
Well, maybe he does care more than you think.
I write to him all the time, but he doesn't even read my letters.
I think you're wrong there. I bet he keeps them tied together with a piece of red tape and locked in a drawer of his desk. And winter evenings, when he's all alone in his dark library, he gets them out and reads them over. Then he sits and looks in the fire and wonders what little Judy is doing and wishes she were there to talk to him.
You know how to pretend, too, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I know how to pretend, too.
Jarvis, do you think it would be fair to Daddy Longlegs if, after being educated to be a writer, I should give it up and marry someone instead?
No, I do not.
Oh, just thought I'd get your opinion. Well, I've got to be getting back now. Jimmy will be waiting.
He seems to be a singularly uninteresting young man.
Oh, he's not at all. He's really very attractive. He dances well and talks well. He's fun to be with. Who knows, I might even marry him.
That, of course, is your privilege. Here's your dormitory. Good afternoon, Judy. I hope I see you again one of these days.
Good afternoon. Of course, I might not marry him if I should meet someone else.
That's a completely feminine problem.
Of course, I might be an old maid, like you.
I am not an old maid, Judy.
Well, it all adds up to the same kind of life. Do you like being a bachelor, Jarvis?
I find many things in its favor.
Well, there are lots of things in favor of marriage, too.
You'd better be getting dressed. It's almost dark. And young McBride will be arriving.
You know something, Jarvis?
What?
It's my birthday. And where I come from, people usually get kissed on their birthday. For luck, you know. I wonder if you'd mind.
Mind? Why, no, of course not.
Well, it was just as nice as I thought it would be. It was nicer than you intended, wasn't it, Jarvis?
Now, wait a moment. Are you sure this is your birthday?
Well, I had to pick a day sometime, hadn't I? And today seemed a pretty good day all of a sudden. It was kind of an inspiration.
You're a designing woman.
I know, isn't it horrible?
Well, good night, Judy.
Jarvis, must you always run away? We're just beginning to get acquainted again.
The old must make way for the young, my dear, and tonight belongs to Jimmy McBride. Good night.
Oh, hang Jimmy McBride.
Hello, Judy. Did you catch any fish?
Not a one. But I had a lovely day. I adore summer vacations. It's wonderful up here in the mountains, isn't it?
Oh, it's all right. Judy, what's wrong?
Wrong? Nothing. Why do you ask?
You've been all out of sorts for the last few weeks. Ever since that weekend Jarvis was here, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you're imagining things.
I've been reading your book. It's a good book. Should be quite a success. I know a publisher you can send it to when it's finished.
Thanks, Julia.
Of course, I don't think any orphan asylum could be as bad as the one you describe.
No, but they can be, Julia. I want to tell you the truth. I'm tired of pretending to be something I'm not. I don't belong with you and Sally and the other girls who have homes and families at all, you see. I grew up in an orphan asylum. There, now you know.
Well, that's nothing to feel ashamed of. It doesn't make the slightest difference to me.
Maybe not to you, but to others it does. Would to your mother and to your uncle.
That's silly.
Is it? Jarvis hasn't come back since that weekend he came up the beginning of the summer, has he?
Oh, Judy, so that's it. Well, I'll tell you something. He's coming up this afternoon. I didn't tell you. I wanted to surprise you. Oh, you're wrong about Jarvis. It wouldn't make any difference in the world to him.
No, but it would. It has. You see, I told him, Julia.
Well, what did he say?
Nothing. Just that he was very sorry I'd had so hard a time.
Jarvis is a horrible snob sometimes.
Isn't he, though? Well, that'll change as long as we're having company.
You're in love with him, aren't you, Judy?
I'll get over it. Put my mind to it. Hello, Jarvis. I didn't know you played.
Well, hello, Judy. Do you remember this piece?
I can't say I do. It's quite old, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a love song.
Oh.
It starts out, if I wore a tulip, a big yellow tulip, and you wore a red, red rose. Do you remember now?
Yes, vaguely.
Judy, I came up today to ask you something.
Yes.
I have a little speech to make. You know, I realize that I must appear quite antiquated to your tender years. But once when you were even younger, you said you loved me. Well, have you forgotten?
No. I haven't forgotten.
I wasn't very polite about it, I'm afraid. You see, I'd planned my life very carefully, and there was no place for any woman in it. And when you said that, I suddenly wanted to change that whole life I'd planned. But everything that I thought was sensible kept saying, don't be a fool, she's too young to know what she wants, and you're too old to change.
Jarvis.
And I thought, how her a life that has already been half lived when she's on the threshold of hers? And yet, I love you. So I must offer it. Will you marry me, Judy? Will you accept my name and my heart?
Jarvis, I'm very sorry.
That's all right, Judy. Don't be sorry.
It was sweet of you to offer, considering that you knew all about me and everything. And very kind of you to offer your name. Would give me a sound place in the world. But I can't accept it.
You don't love me, Judy. That's it, isn't it?
I shall always cherish your friendship, Jarvis, and your kindness.
All right, Judy. I understand.
In heaven's name, Jarvis, will you quit that pacing?
Why don't you go home, Edith? I feel like pacing.
You love her very much, don't you?
Yes, but I'll get over it. I'll get over it.
Well, don't be in such a hurry. Take your time getting over it. Judy, why did you refuse Jarvis? You love him, don't you?
He was offering to marry me out of pity.
I don't think that's true.
I do. You see, I told him a long time ago how I felt. He didn't pay any attention. But when I told him about the orphan asylum, he was sympathetic. He went home, thought it over, and offered to marry me.
My dear Judy, no man in the world is as unselfish as that. If he offers to sacrifice himself for a woman, you can be sure he's enjoying it.
Jarvis isn't like any other man.
Judy, pack a bag. I want you to come back with me. I think it's time you met your daddy Longlegs. He's the one man in the world who can help you straighten this thing out.
Hello. I came to see Mr. Smith. Has Miss Pritchard arrived yet?
Oh, yes, miss. Come in. Miss Pritchard's in the library, miss.
How's the old gentleman?
The old gentleman?
Mr. Smith.
Oh, Mr. Smith is well, miss.
Judy, dear, you're late. I've been here half an hour.
I had to have a new dress. How do I look?
Perfectly beautiful.
Where is he?
Well, Judy, if you'll walk over and open that door, you'll find your daddy Longlegs on the other side of it. I didn't tell him you were coming. I wanted to surprise him.
Well, just open the door. He might not like that.
But he will. I promise you he will. Go on, Judy.
Well, all right. Shouldn't I knock?
No, just open the door.
Oh.
Judy. Why, hello, darling.
What are you doing here?
I live here. And if you will marry me, you can live here, too. I wouldn't dare invite you to live here unless you'll marry me. I'm not that old and you're not that young. People would talk.
Jarvis, we've been all over that.
I have a letter there that you wrote to Daddy Longlegs, in which you've written down why you refused me before. I'm glad you wrote it. Otherwise, I might never have known. How could you be so silly as to think it would matter to me what sort of background you came from?
Those are all my letters on the desk. How did you get them?
You sent them to me.
I sent them to Daddy Longlegs. Oh, Jarvis.
You said you were going to take care of me. You know, the camphor and the flannel mufflers and the rest. I intend to hold you to your word.
Oh, Jarvis. I love you very much.
And I love you, my dear. And will forever.
The curtain has fallen on Daddy Longlegs, but though the play is over, I do not leave you. I linger in your memory to return next week to quicken your hearts with another great love story. The play that shall speak for me then is Rupert of Hentzau by Anthony Hope. Till then, till curtain time next week, I wish you love and happiness. My name is Romance.
You've been listening to Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the most romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was an old favorite, Daddy Longlegs, by Gene Webster. The play was adapted for radio by Gene Holloway with script supervision by Albert R. Perkins. It was directed by Marx Loeb, and the music was conducted by Charles Paul. The part of Judy Abbott was played by Florence Williams, with Marin McCormick as Jarvis, and Gladys Thornton as Miss Pritchard. Listen next week at this same time, when we'll bring you our next great romance, Rupert of Hensaw. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Columbia brings you Romance. Tonight, A Quiet Wedding. And here is Frank Gallup to set the stage for tonight's tale of romance. Good evening. This is Frank Gallup, your host for the evening, to guide you through the pages of the thrilling love stories of the past, the tender love stories of today. Tonight I bring you Betty Winkler and Frank Lovejoy in Quiet Wedding by Esther McCracken, adapted for radio by Gene Holloway. It's a story not so much of marriage itself, but of the hectic times just before the wedding, the hours and days and weeks of feverish preparation, all leading up to the final scene. The quiet wedding in the conventional setting. The church banked with flowers. The familiar march from Lohengrin. The turning of heads and the hushed, excited voices.
Oh, my dear, isn't she the most beautiful bride? Oh, it's all so lovely. I think I'm going to cry.
When you're a spectator at a quiet wedding, you're unaware of all the trouble that led up to it. Trouble that begins in such a simple way. For instance, like this.
Janet, I'd like you to meet Dallas Chater, an old friend of mine. Dallas, this is Janet Roy.
Hello, Janet.
Hello, Dallas.
May I have this dance?
I'd love it.
It doesn't seem like trouble as the days and weeks go by. On the contrary.
Dallas, isn't it a beautiful night? Look at that moon.
I'm sorry, I haven't any time to spare for the moon tonight. Penny.
Penny?
For your thoughts. You were 1,000,000 miles away just then.
I'm not sure my thoughts are for sale.
Mine are. And not for a penny, just for your attention. I was thinking that in all my life there's never been a girl like Janet. Janet makes living seem a lot more fun than I ever thought it could be. And Janet does funny things to my heart action and my knee action and my head action. Everything is beautiful when she's with me, and everything's a little empty when she's not.
Dallas.
So I've been trying to jack up that courage I thought I had so much of before I met you to say that. What are you doing tomorrow night, and the night after that? And what are your plans for the rest of your life?
Well, tomorrow night I have a date. Of course, I could break it. And the night after that, I'm free, and as for the rest of my life, I'm open to suggestion.
Will you marry me, Janet?
Yes, if you'd like me to.
Darling, darling.
We'll have such a wonderful wedding. A quiet wedding, but so lovely.
To the beholder, weeping in the third row, the quiet wedding is a thing of transcendent beauty. The bride of vision in satin and lace. The bridesmaids, fragile apparitions in tulle. The groom, a proper background for the splendor that's marching toward him. And the whole 20 minutes, something spent in heaven, where marriages are undoubtedly made. The bride thinks of it like that all during her schoolgirl years. But as her actual wedding day approaches, her attitude begins to change. At least, that's the way it was with Janet Boyd the day before her wedding.
Oh, I wish I were in Tibet. way back in the mountains of Tibet.
Janet?
I'm sorry, Mother, but that's the way I feel.
Did you lunch with the bridesmaids, Janet?
Yes, Aunt Mary, I lunched with the bridesmaids.
And you saw their precious little hats or caps or halos, whatever they are?
I certainly did.
What's so funny about that?
The flowers, the shape, but mainly the bridesmaids' faces.
Well, the flowers and the shape can be changed.
It'd be a waste of time without changing the faces. You know, the Barton girls are dears, but I don't think their faces were ever meant to go with flowers.
Oh, Janet, this is most upsetting.
Mother, let's talk about them. They'll be all right.
But what's wrong with them, dear? Are they too high or too low?
Look, darling, I've had bridesmaids' faces in 4 different varieties from 4 different points of view all afternoon. I just don't care anymore.
Janet, is Dallas coming this evening?
Yes, Aunt Mary, I think so.
Well, lots more presents have arrived. You haven't even looked at them.
Oh, dear. Aunt Mary, did you hate getting married as much as I do?
Hate it? Oh, my dear, I reveled in it. I was the important member of the family for the first time in my life. And I had 12 pairs of stockings without a darn in one of them.
I suppose the stockings are something in its favor.
Now, Janet, Mother's not going to listen to any more of this talk. I'm upset enough without getting more upset. I'm going out to the kitchen.
Aunt Mary, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married at all. I can't imagine whatever made me think I did.
You're just tired, my dear.
You bet I'm tired. I'm tired of trying on dresses and arguing about underclothes and trains and hotels. I'm even more tired of watching the family assemble. You'd think they were coming to a wake.
Well, in another 24 hours, they won't matter at all.
But that's just it. They will. You know, all this fuss seems to have killed something lovely between Dallas and me. When I'm with him now, I can't find anything to say to him. He's just the person I've got to go through this ghastly farce with.
Well, you're not the only person who's felt like that.
I think this being decked out for mating is positively indecent. I wish we'd run away when we first found out that we loved each other. Then we might love each other still.
My dear, when this wedding's over and you're away from everybody, you'll find you're just as much in love with him as ever.
No, I don't think we will. We're separated by miles and miles of white satin and bridesmaids' hats and...
Hello, darling. Oh, you look tired.
Oh, hello, Dallas.
Hello, Aunt Mary. How's the girl?
Oh, splendid, thank you. Well, if you'll excuse me a moment, I want to find Mildred. She wandered off a few minutes ago and hasn't been heard of since.
It isn't necessary to leave us alone, you know.
That's right, Aunt Mary. Sit down and have a drink. I'll turn on the radio. All we need is music and soft lights, good company.
That's a pretty piece. What's the name of it, Janet?
Where or When?
I always liked that piece. They used to play it all the time at school dances. I was going with a girl named Mabel, and it was a favorite of hers.
Oh, indeed. Was she pretty?
Oh, yes, perfectly stunning. A tall blonde with a walk like a tiger. Boy, I really went for her.
Really? It's a shame I'm not a blonde.
Oh, you'll do the way you are.
Well, don't do me any favors.
Hey, what's eating you lately?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Well, I think you two have had quite enough of my society for a while. There are a few things I really must attend to.
Haven't we had just about enough of this music? Hello, darling.
I suppose you called her darling, too.
Who?
That Where or When girl.
I'll be darned, you're jealous.
Don't flatter yourself.
Why, you silly little kid, you know you're number one on my heart parade.
Yes, I must be if just listening to Where or When on the radio sends you into rhapsodies over somebody else.
I didn't marry her, did I?
You probably wanted to.
If I had, I would have.
Oh, you're pretty sure of yourself, aren't you?
Oh, darling, I love you so much. Come here.
Please don't touch me.
Well, that's a charming attitude, I must say. What's got into you, Janet?
Nothing.
Have I done something?
Oh, of course not. What could you have possibly done?
Well, it's certainly hopeless trying to talk to you when you're in this mood.
If I were you, I wouldn't try. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go and help Mother.
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop talking like a book on etiquette. Oh, Janet, look, I love you. I can't bear to see you looking like this.
Please don't get sloppy, Dallas.
Why, you bad-tempered...
Oh!
I'm not sorry I slapped you. You needed it.
You contemptible beast.
That's fine. Now we got things on a more conventional footing. Now you say I hate you, and you burst into tears.
I wouldn't give you that much satisfaction.
Oh, Janet, I wanted to ask
Later,
you...
Aunt Mary.
Well, what's wrong with her?
I slapped her face.
That was tactful of you.
Well, you have no idea how infuriating she was.
Oh, yes, I have a pretty good idea. Dallas, you are in love with her, aren't you?
Oh, I think so. I suppose so. I don't know.
Well, that doesn't sound any too promising.
Oh, I love her all right, but lately we seem to be miles apart. I can't reach her. And then I get mad and I say things I had no intention of saying.
Shall I tell you what's worrying her?
I wish you would.
It's the wedding. There's so much wedding that the fact that you love each other seems to have got lost. How often have you seen her alone during the past week?
Oh, practically never. She didn't seem to want to be alone with me.
Look, you take the advice of someone who knows far more about the workings of the female mind than you do at the moment. Come back later this evening, get her alone somehow, and don't let her talk until you've been making love to her for at least 5 minutes.
Oh, that's no good. I've tried it.
Well, I thought you said you slapped her.
Yeah, well, so I did, but that was after.
After you let her talk.
Oh, it's hopeless to try and get her alone.
Well, you could drag her off by the hair of her head, couldn't you? You'd better do something like that, Dallas, or there may not be any wedding. How about it?
Well, I don't know, but I'll try, Aunt Mary. I'll try my best.
Father, there's something... look, what would you say if I told you I changed my mind and didn't want to get married tomorrow after all?
Janet!
Mother, please.
I'd say then don't.
What? You mean that, Father?
Oh, she's tired and nervous, Arthur. She doesn't realize what she's saying. For heaven's sakes, don't encourage her.
Well, the idea has its appealing side. At least I wouldn't have good old Cousin Bob on my hands tomorrow.
Look, Father, I'm very serious, so please don't say anything you don't mean.
All right, my dear, I won't. I'll say just this. Once the guests get to the church tomorrow, you must go through with it. But you can change your mind any time up to then.
Oh, Arthur, dear, don't. You're making me feel perfectly miserable, and you know it's all nonsense.
I don't know any such thing. I mean every word I'm saying.
Oh, Father, you're a darling.
Yes, you're right. I am.
Of course, I might run away and get married.
Oh, no, you don't, young woman. A romantic refusal at the last moment is one thing. But sneaking off and leaving everything flat after all the money I've paid out is another. No. If you marry Dallas at all, you marry him tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock wearing your full regalia. A dress costing $162.50, complete with slippers, veil, etc., etc. And standing afterwards under a marquee that cost $50 to erect. Eating a handsome lunch at $2 a copy. Drinking domestic champagne at $5 a bottle, with the exception of 3 bottles at $6 each for the bride's father and his special friends. In short, my dear, behaving rationally. After all, I've paid plenty for this quiet wedding. And if there's any marrying to be done, I think that I'm entitled to my money's worth.
My Arthur, you're wonderful.
Yes, you're right, I am. What do you say, Janet?
Oh, I'll have to think about it, Father. I'll have to let you know.
Hello, Janet. How's my kid sister?
Marcia, how wonderful. I thought you weren't going to be able to get to the wedding.
Well, I just suddenly made up my mind and came.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Janet, you might as well know it now as any time. I'm leaving Jim.
Leaving him? Marcia, I thought you were so happy.
Well, I'm not. As far as I'm concerned, marriage is worse than prison. Did you ever stop to think what it's like to be married to one man, the same face day in, day out, the same voice, the same mannerisms? Why, after a while, I swear you'd commit anything from murder to suicide to get away.
But you were in love when you married him.
No, Janet, no, I wasn't. I knew on my wedding day that I was making a mistake, but, well, I was too much of a coward to call the whole thing off. Why, all he talked about the day before we were married was some other girl he used to know. Can you imagine that?
No, I certainly can. Well, why did you just decide to leave him now after all this time?
I'll tell you why. I'll give you one example. Every night after dinner, we have coffee. Nothing unusual in that. But every night when it comes, Jim says, coffee, as if we'd never had it before. Night after night after night. And that isn't all. Dinner is at 7:30 every night. Every single night. 7:30. That's when he likes it. And yet when the gong sounds, he always looks at his watch and says, "By Jove, I must wash."
Well, I suppose that would get on your nerves in time.
You bet it does. For the last few months, I've lived in a quivering state of nerves, just waiting for evening to come. Waiting for, "By Jove, I must wash." And, coffee. Well, if that's marriage, they can keep it. It's not for me.
It certainly doesn't sound very attractive.
Janet, I've been worried about you. Are you sure? I'd hate to have you make the same mistake I did. Are you absolutely positive?
Yeah. No. I don't think... Oh, Marcia, I don't know what to do. I'm so miserable.
Well, if you have any doubt at all, you sit down this instant and write that young man a note and tell him there isn't going to be any wedding until you are sure.
I suppose that is the sensible thing to do. I've been up here for hours trying to make up my mind.
It's the only sane thing to do if you have any doubts whatever. After all, Janet, this is for the rest of your life.
Yes. The rest of my life. Marcia, I think I will write a note. It's the only thing to do.
Oh, you poor kid. You poor little kid.
Thank goodness I found you at last, Jenna. What on earth do you mean writing me this note saying you want to break everything off?
Well, you certainly gave me every reason to believe that you felt the same way I did. You don't think you can go around punching me and get away with it, do you?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that, Janet. Janet, you remember that funny little cafe where we used to dance in the basement?
Yes. Yes, of course I do.
You remember one night when we were there, we swore to each other that if anything ever came between us, we'd go off on our own and give ourselves a chance to discuss things and put them right?
Yes. I remember that.
But you didn't do it. You sent me an icy little note instead.
We can't go off alone now. It's too late.
No, it isn't. It's never too late. Come along.
I won't.
Janet, this is important. Janet, if you don't want to marry me, you don't, and that's that. All I'm asking is that we give ourselves a chance. We can't talk here. Janet, you've got to come with me. You've just got to. Will you please?
All right, Dallas. I'll go with you.
You always were the best dancer I ever knew.
I'll get by as long as I have you. Dallas, isn't it a coincidence that they should play this piece? That's the first piece we ever danced to.
I asked them to play it.
Why?
I wanted to dance with you again, do it. It filled our hearts once. I wanted to do that again.
Darling, don't hold me so close. What'll people say?
Well, they'll say that we love each other.
Oh, Dallas, it's wonderful to be by ourselves. I feel much better, really I do.
And so do I. We've danced long enough. Let's go out on the balcony and look at the moon.
All right. Uh-oh. There's that piece again. Do you hear it, Dallas?
Yeah.
This time, I don't want you dreaming over your lost love.
I've never loved anyone but you, Janet, and I never will. You know, I'm not even sure who it is that song does remind me of. I just said that it was someone beautiful because you were acting so stuffy. I really like it because it reminds me of a school, the old gymnasium, and the school dance band. All the fun we had when we were younger.
Really, Dallas? Is that the only reason?
On my honor.
Darling, it's a perfectly beautiful piece, isn't it?
Janet, I've got an idea. What do you say we get married?
I don't know. It's worth a little thought.
Just look at that moon and those stars. Look at all those lights. Hundreds of houses full of married people. Sitting together and planning their lives. Life looks pretty good from here, doesn't it, Angel?
From where I sit, it looks wonderful. Dallas, let's go and look at our house. The one we plan to live in.
All right. Let's go. Where is that confounded light switch?
Try a little higher up, dear.
Ah.
There. How do you like it, Dallas? You've never seen it with the furniture in.
It's a castle. It's mine. I'd recognize it anywhere.
It's as cold as a real castle.
Well, there's a fire laid. I'll light it.
Good.
There. Now, let's sit down beside our first fire. Let me put my arm around you.
Mm-hmm.
There, comfortable?
Very.
Let's pretend. Let's pretend it's our 10th wedding anniversary. We're entertaining all our friends. Now, let me see. Ann and Jack are sitting over there on the love seat. Even Walter on the Davenport. And Claire and Frank on the floor in front of the fire.
Oh, then we can't have Ann and Jack. They don't speak to Claire and Frank.
Oh, all right. Well, then Gertrude and Fred are on the love seat. You just cooked the chicken dinner. I've carved it.
And the dishes are piled in the sink.
And your hair's a little tumbled the way it is now, and your cheeks are flushed. I'm thinking how very much I love you and how good the years have been. And somebody laughs too loudly, young Chris starts to cry in the nursery.
Dallas, no, not a boy. I want a girl.
Oh, I want a boy, someone to play golf with, wrestle, and take fishing.
I want a girl to wear pigtails and play with dolls and help me in the kitchen.
I would compromise and have both.
Sounds like fun. Oh, Dallas, I'm so glad we came here.
So am I.
If you only knew what it's been like at home this week. Telephone ringing and parcels everywhere. Endless fitting. Well, even my bedroom's been full of trunks and clothes and caterers and florists and expressmen popping in and out. It was horrible. But now, isn't it funny? I don't feel miles away from you anymore.
Look, don't you suppose that this whole thing's been getting on my nerves, too?
Your nerves?
Oh, I suppose it never occurred to you that I might be suffering from nerves. Can't expect a man to go around bursting into tears.
Well, thank you.
Oh, now don't start that again.
Oh, Dallas, stop being reasonable.
I will if you'll stop being unreasonable.
All right, darling. Turn on the radio, will you? It's right behind you there.
Okay, sweet. Oh, yeah, there's that song again. As long as I have you.
Oh, Dallas. Dallas.
All right, go ahead, darling. Cry your eyes out if you want to.
Why have you been such a beast to me lately?
Oh, I'll be darned.
When I don't get excited. I'm the one who's going to be reasonable now. I knew all along that I was being silly and unreasonable, but I couldn't tell you what was the matter. You were so far away.
Oh, I wasn't really far away. I was just scared to death. I realized suddenly that I was taking on a rather large responsibility. And then it was a busy week at the office.
Oh, I'd forgotten all about your office.
Oh, you mustn't ever do that. The office is very important. I shall expect you to minister to my comforts when I come home tired from the office. All the husbands and stories come home very tired from the office. Don't you dare forget about it ever in the future.
I won't, Dallas.
Oh, then I take it there is going to be a future?
I take it there is. Darling, do you know you haven't kissed me yet?
That's easily fixed.
Dallas, do you love me?
Madly.
And will you love me forever?
Until the end of time.
Oh, darling, I'm so glad. Isn't it funny how you can be so utterly happy when you've been so utterly miserable?
Oh, it's very funny.
Dallas, I don't want to go home tonight. I want to stay right here. I'm afraid to go back there. We're all right now, but our nerves are still a little raw, and people keep twanging on them at home. We can go back tomorrow and let them have their quiet wedding.
You're sure now? You're happy now?
Oh, darling, I never was so sure of anything in my life. But don't make me go back, Dallas. Not until morning. I'll be fine in the morning. You can have the bedroom, and I'll stay here on the couch. I'm almost sleepy already. All right?
All right, darling. Whatever will make you happy. Okay, Janet, the coast is clear. There's no one in here.
I'll have to hurry. They'll be looking for me.
Oh!
Shh. Oh, darling, don't make so much noise. I think everyone's still asleep.
Oh, they'll wake up soon enough. Janet, in a few minutes, all sorts of things are going to come crowding in on you again. People fussing and carrying on. Sure you're going to be all right?
Perfectly. I'm just thinking that in a few hours we'll be married.
I love you very much, you know.
Oh, Dallas, I love you, too.
Well, better not let your mother see you two down here pitching woo so early. She wanted you to sleep late so you'd be an extra beautiful bride.
Good morning, Daddy.
Morning, Sam.
Go on now, Janet. Scoot. You have a lot of things to do. This is your wedding day, as I recall. Or am I mistaken?
I'm sorry I worried you yesterday, Father. I do want to get married very much. I didn't work out into me.
Oh, nerves, that's all. Your mother threw the family album at me the day before we were married. I'll carry the scar to my grave.
Didn't it upset you?
I should say not. Then I knew that she really loved me.
Goodbye, Dallas. I'll see you a little later.
Can't wait.
Oh, Janet. You'd better muss up your bed a little before your mother sees it.
Daddy, you're wonderful.
That's right. I am.
Don't forget, Janet, we have a date. Don't be late.
I won't, darling. You'll find me waiting for you at the church. I know now that what I've wanted all my life is just a quiet wedding.
A few words between a boy and a girl. That's how the trouble always starts. And here's how the trouble ends.
I, Janet, take thee, Dallas, to my wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward.
Yes, a lot of trouble ends that way. Or does it? This is Frank Gallup, your host for the evening, ringing down the curtain on tonight's performance of Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. The play tonight was Quiet Wedding by Esther McCracken, adapted for radio by Gene Holloway. Quiet Wedding was directed by Mark Slobe, with script supervision by Albert R. Perkins. The music was conducted by Charles Paul. The players included Betty Winkler as Janet, Frank Lovejoy as Dallas, and Jean Ellen, Grace Coffin, Ethel Ramey, and Alan Drake. Next week at the same hour, we shall bring you another romance. Till then, till curtain time next week, this is your host, Frank Gallup, saying good night and wishing you love, happiness, and romance.
And now CBS presents Kate Smith.
Hello, everybody. Yes, this is me on the 16th hour of our war bond drive. And in case anybody should ask you, I'm still just as fresh as a daisy and wanting before my voice gives out to sell lots more bonds. In 15 minutes, I'm going to introduce a distinguished guest. A little later on, I have a story to tell you, but right now, I want to make my report to the nation. I want to bring you up-to-date information on the very latest figures in this bond drive. The dollars are piling up. Bond purchases are sweeping the country. For you know what? To sweep the Axis off the map. First, leading all the rest at the moment, is station WGAR in Cleveland, Ohio. $5,888,875. Second, station KOIN in Portland, Oregon. $4,415,150. Third, station WABC in New York City. $4,015,200. Fourth, station WBT in Charlotte, North Carolina, $2,247,950. And fifth, station WERC in Erie, Pennsylvania, $2,243,700. These are the outstanding sections according to the reports before me now. I hope soon that we'll hear from those other stations, those other cities and towns I know are buying bonds. We're waiting for those figures. Our total now is $29,198,025. But we know it's more than that. Let's get those totals in, folks, and let's keep right on buying those bonds. Are you with me, America? Good. Will you buy another bond?
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Columbia brings you Romance. Tonight, one of the most moving of all love stories of our times, Seventh Heaven. And here is Frank Gallup to set the stage for tonight's tale of romance.
Good evening. This is Frank Gallup, your host for the evening, to guide you through the pages of the great dramatic love stories of all time. Tonight I bring you Lamont Johnson as that very remarkable fellow Chico, and Joy Geffen as the lovely dreamer Deanne in Seventh Heaven, adapted by Jean Holloway from Austin Strong's stage play of Love in the Garrets of Paris. It has been said that heaven is the place where the heart finds true happiness. There are no guideposts to help you find heaven on earth. You just suddenly come around a corner, or up a flight of stairs, or down a cellar, and there it is, heaven. For Chico and Deanne, heaven was 7 stories up, hence the title, Seventh Heaven. Chico was a sewer worker who wanted to be a street cleaner. And Deanne, well, Deanne was a very young and very lovely girl who was being victimized by her elder sister, Nana, who was trying to bully her into a life she didn't want to lead. But one day, Nana was whipping Deanne in the street as Chico and a friend passed by.
Take that! And that! I'll learn you to disobey me, you young whelp. Please, Nana, please. Disobey me, will you, little brat?
Well, will you look at that? She's killing the little one, Chico.
There, you hellcat, you. Oh, put me down. Put me down, you monster. Put me down before I hit you. Eyes out.
I'll put you down. I'll put you right down under that manhole cover. You can do your screaming in the sewer for a while, my fine
Don't
lady.
You dare, you filthy swine. Don't you dare.
She'll cool off down there.
Will she be able to find a way out?
She'll meet someone that'll help her. There's plenty of men working up a ways. Well, now, let's see to the small one here.
Yes. Open the door of my taxi cab. She's unconscious. We can put her on the seat.
Oh, gently now. Gently. She's bleeding. That whip went deep in her arm.
Yes, you saved her life, Chico.
I don't know why. She has a nice smile, eh, Boo?
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Chico. And this is my friend, Boo.
Hello, Chico. Hello, Boo.
How do you do?
I was dreaming about you. I was dreaming I was in heaven. And I kept hearing the name Chico and the name Boo. And I kept wondering, why should they be in heaven with me? These two that I don't even know.
She's out of her head.
Oh, no. She just heard us talking while she was unconscious.
What do you do, Chico? What's your profession?
Me? Why, I'm a sewer man, an atheist, and a very remarkable fellow. Why are you smiling at me like that?
No reason, except I've been looking a long time for a very remarkable fellow.
Don't look at me. I'm not for any woman. I have no time for women.
Oh, that's very disappointing.
Oh, look, down the street. There comes Maximilian Goban, the street washer.
Let's ask him to join us for supper,
huh? No.
we'll just get snubbed for our pains. The street washers are above the social strata of the sewers.
Oh, but try, Chico. Isn't he splendid looking?
I will try. Good evening, Citizen Street Washer. Will you do us the honor of dining with us?
Dine with you? The likes of you? No.
Old snob.
You're right, Boo.
Holes present the higher social position than the sewer.
Social position? How do you like that? I tell you, that's why I'm an atheist. Why should that stupid fellow have the hose while I'm kept down among the drain pipes? Me, who I know to be a very remarkable fellow.
Why are you an atheist, Chico?
Well, just looking at you is enough to make me one. Were you put here just to live in the gutter, to be beaten and strangled?
I don't know. I never thought about that.
Well, I know there is a God. I've proved it 100 ways.
Ha, name one.
Well, there must be a bon Dieu. Otherwise, where do all the good things come from? The wine, the cheese, the onion, the blue skies and the yellow fields, and my taxi, and my wife.
Wait a minute. Do you think the bon Dieu made me?
Of course.
And you?
Naturally.
And that street washer, Maximilian Gobin?
Well, everybody makes mistakes sometimes. You know, the trouble with you is you're ignorant. You know nothing of the beauty and the consolation of religion.
Fool, I've been through that. I was religious once. I prayed so long and so loud, the bon Dieu must have heard me. I gave him a fair test 3 times. First, I prayed for the hose, to be a street washer. I went to the finest church in Paris, the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and I bought the largest candle in the place for 5 francs.
5 francs?
That's a lot of money.
But I didn't get it. So I said, perhaps the bon Dieu, if there is any, meant for me to be a sewer man. You see, I am a philosopher. I can take a certain amount of disappointment. Then I wanted something else. So again, I lit a candle. 5 francs more.
What was that for?
A wife with yellow hair.
A wife?
Nothing happened. So then I said, Monsieur le bon Dieu, I'm going to give you one more chance. So for this last time, I prayed for an experience.
An experience?
You probably won't understand, but I wanted the experience of feeling like a fine gentleman. I wanted to be able to climb into a taxi cab and say, fellow, make the grand tour. Drive me first to the Champs-Élysées, and then to the Maison Rouge, and then to the Arc de Triomphe. And then home to 48 Rue Notre-Dame de Lorette, and perdition take the expense.
15 francs you laid out?
Yes. The bon Dieu owes me 15 francs, and that's why I'm an atheist.
See the padre coming down the street there? Don't let him hear you say that.
Well, hello, Chico. Hello, Boo. You have a friend, I see. What's your name, young woman?
Diane.
Diane. That's a pretty name. Is there anything I can do for you tonight, Chico?
Nothing, Father. You know I'm an atheist.
I don't expect you to be one forever.
You know why he feels that way, Father? He prayed for 3 things and didn't get them.
Really? What were they?
Well, he wanted to ride in a taxi cab with a yellow-haired wife and money enough to pay for it. The money to be earned from the hose. He wants to be a street washer.
Do you, Chico? Why, then I can help you. They're looking for a man. Here, you take this card to the commissioner, and the hose is yours. Now, I'm going to ask you to keep these 2 medals of St. John and St. Agnes I'm going to give you. The bon Dieu has a sense of humor, Chico, and the joke is on you. Good night to you, and good luck.
Did you hear? Did you hear? I'm a street washer. I've risen in the world. And look at these medals. They're real silver. Boo, look. The price mark. It says 15 francs.
Well, I must say good night. I congratulate you, monsieur. Good night.
Wait a minute. Where are you going?
That's my affair.
What is that you're trying to hide? A knife, huh? Give it to me.
It's my knife. It's not your concern.
Give me that.
If you take it away from me, I'll jump in the river.
Go ahead. Drown yourself if it pleases you. Women like you make me sick. Where's your fight? Hold on, Deanne. There'll be something good for you. I, who am a newly risen man, tell you.
Take your hands off me. Let me go. I want to go to the river.
All right, I'm not keeping you. There's the boulevard to the river. It's broad enough. The devil take you. Wait, Deanne, why do you want to die?
What have I to live for?
Is there nothing you want?
Yes. But what I want is beyond me. You wanted to be a street washer. That's easy. What I want is heaven.
You want to be a street washer, too?
No. I want a room and a stove and some curtains. And I want someone to cook for and take care of. Someone who will smile at me and warm my heart. Someone strong and handsome and kind. A very remarkable fellow.
I think you will find him. Diane, you've got to be brave. You've got to fight life and lick it. Now then, will you swear to me that you will not try to kill yourself?
I swear it. Oh, look, it's the police, and they have Nana.
Here's that girl, Diane. You will come with us.
Zach, you can't arrest her.
Oh, it's you, Chico. Why not?
Because she is my wife.
Well, why didn't you say so at once? Come on. We've lost enough time. Let's get moving.
She's not his wife, you fools. She's not his wife. She's my sister. I'd know, wouldn't I?
Oh, is that so? Where do you live now, Diane?
48 Rue Notre-Dame de Lorette.
Well, tomorrow we'll come to your house to see if you speak the truth. Come along now.
Oh, you won't get away with this. I'll get even. You won't get away with this.
Well, let's get moving.
Now, why did I say that? It was a silly thing to say.
Don't worry. I'll go away.
Oh, but you can't. They'll look up the books and find no records. And then they'll come to my address and find I have no wife. Oh, I'm ruined. I'll lose the hose. Oh, why couldn't I keep my mouth shut?
Maybe you could let me stay with you until the police come.
Huh?
To prove to them that you had a wife. And then I'd go away and never trouble you again.
But how can we explain about our marriage not being on the records?
Well, we can say we were married in Italy or Belgium.
Diane, that's it. That's it exactly. You have a great head. A very great head.
You have a very great heart.
And I also have a great idea. Bull! Bull!
Don't shout. I'm right here.
Wind up that stuttering taxicab of yours. Wind up that sewing machine, that ill-tempered piece of tin. Wind it up.
Why?
Why? Well, look what I have on my arm. A yellow-haired bride. And in my pocket is the card that says I am now a street washer. And now I wish to take a grand wedding tour. First, the Champs-Élysées.
So this is the Champs-Élysées. I've always wanted to drive down it. Look at the stars, Chico. How nice they look from a taxicab riding down the Champs-Élysées.
There are some other people in the taxi. Bow, Diane, bow. They are of our social strata. They, too, ride in taxis.
Oh, Chico, isn't it exciting? Isn't it fun?
Oh, bow, Diane, bow. This is our night. Anyone who doesn't bow back is very rude. Here we are, the Maison Rouge. Let me help you down, my lady.
Oh, no, monsieur. Permit me, please.
Thank you.
Monsieur et madame. If we go around the back, we can hear the music quite plainly. There's a little park that goes down to the river. It's just a step or two.
Oh, Chico, isn't it beautiful? Look at the river. Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, you are. May I have this dance, madame, my wife?
Indeed you may, monsieur, my husband.
Stop here, Bull. Here by the Arc de Triomphe. There you are, Madame Chico. The Arc de Triomphe. I give it to you for a wedding present.
Oh, Chico.
Oh, wait a minute. Here, what are you crying about?
I don't know.
What kind of a girl are you to go around crying and not know what you're crying about?
I guess I'm crying because it isn't true. I guess I'm crying because I'd like so much for it to be true.
Don't cry. You're so much prettier when you laugh. And when you laugh, I want to laugh. When you cry, it makes me feel like crying, too. Smile for me, Diane. Please? That's better. Diane.
Oh, Chico, that was a lovely kiss. It was a nicer present than even the Arc de Triomphe.
Hey, you two. Where now? It's way past midnight.
The driver would like to know where to now. Why, home, driver. You know where that is, don't you?
You might refresh me, madame.
48 Rue Notre-Dame de Lorette.
48 Rue Notre-Dame de Lorette, the finest street in Paris.
Oh, that street is not in Paris, my friend. That street is in heaven.
night, Fool. Thank you for a lovely evening.
Thank you, Boole. I'll settle with you on payday.
The debt is already paid. Forget it. Good night.
Good night. Night, and thank you. Good night.
Good night.
And now, it's 7 flights up. You too tired to climb it, do you think?
Too tired? Oh, no. I shall run all the way up.
There it is.
Oh, Chico, it is heaven. I've never seen anything so beautiful.
I'll light the lamps.
Oh, no, please. Look at the way the moonlight lights the room. Oh, Chico, look how close you are to the stars. How happy you must be here.
Funny, I never thought much about being happy here. It's always been a place to come to at night and leave in the morning.
I can't believe I'm here. I must be dreaming. Oh, Chico, how can I ever thank you?
Do you know something, Deanne?
Yes?
This evening I've changed. I, who've always been a remarkable fellow, have become even more remarkable. Because I've discovered something. I've come to believe something.
And what's that?
That there is a God, and that this room is heaven.
Oh, Chico.
Well, I think I'll say good night. I'll sleep out on the roof tonight. You may have the bed.
Oh, I can't take your bed. Let me sleep on the roof or on the floor.
Not a chance. What way would that be to treat an angel?
An angel. That's a funny name for me.
Not so funny as you think. Good night, Deanne.
Good night, Chico. Chico, would you mind? I mean, would it be asking too much to... Could we play the game just long enough to include a goodnight kiss?
Good night, Deanne.
Good night, Chico. All right, I'm coming. Are you the police?
It's Boole.
Oh, good morning, Boole.
Good morning, Madame Chico. Good morning. How beautiful you are this morning.
Thank you, and so are you.
Oh, really? Thank you. Where's Chico?
He's not here. He was gone when I woke up. I'm cooking him some onion soup.
Not here, huh? Well, that's funny. He told me to meet him here at 10 o'clock sharp. What do you suppose he wants?
I don't know.
Ah. Have you heard from your sister, Nana?
Nana? No, she's in jail, isn't she?
Oh, no. She got out this morning. I met her on the street. She said if you didn't come back, she'd come and get you.
Come and get me. Oh, Boole, what shall I do? I've had such a wonderful 3 days here. I hate to leave and go back. Yet I guess I must. I can't stay here forever. It's taking advantage of Chico's goodness.
Oh, I don't know about
He's
that.
only here for meals. Past 2 nights he slept at Monsieur Charlot's. I can't turn him out of his home forever. I guess I must go back to Nana.
Well, I'll tell you what. Suppose you and I go and burn a candle to St. Antoine. Maybe he will tell us what to do, huh?
There comes Chico.
It's about time, too.
Good morning. How are you this morning, my pigeon and my friend?
Chico, put me down.
I've been waiting half an hour for you. What did you want before this?
I wanted you for a very important event. Deanne, take this box and put on what you find in it.
What is it?
Isn't that just like a woman? Questions, always questions. It's a dress, my stupid little cabbage. A new dress.
A dress?
Yes, a wedding dress.
A wedding dress?
That's what I said. A wedding dress. Oh, you don't know what a time I've had. Those fools at the Marriage Bureau refused to believe that I'd ever been born, just because I wasn't on their records. Isn't that stupid? I said, well, of course I was born. How else did I get here?
Those fools of the Bureau.
So, after I'd spent hours arguing with them, they finally gave me the paper that said I was born, and now we're to be married at 11.
Married? Oh, Chico, I can't marry you.
You can't marry me? What do you mean you can't marry me? You've cooked me onion soup and mended my clothes, even kissed me. If that isn't leading a man on, I don't know what it is.
Please, you've been so good to me already. I can't let you do anything more.
I've been good, huh? You mean that?
So good.
Then you be good to me, and don't refuse me. Deanne, if you leave me and I lose you, I lose everything. Even being a street washer will mean nothing. Funny, that was my idea of heaven once. But now I know that heaven is coming home to you. Oh, Deanne, please put on the dress. I want to marry you fast before anyone can take you away from me. I love you so much. So very much. You and I add up to heaven, the way I see it. Chico, Deanne, heaven.
Say it again.
Chico, Deanne, heaven.
Say it again.
Chico. Hey, that's enough. And look here, young woman, you're not marrying a poor man. I want you to know that. Look here, 1 month's pay in advance. We'll have a picnic tonight and a wedding that no one on the street will ever forget. I've invited all the street washers and the whole sewer. How about it, Madame Chico?
Madame Chico. Oh, it's a lovely name. It's a lovely name.
Will you go and put on that dress? Get along there. Go over to Madame Gobert's and put it on.
Immediately, Monsieur Chico, immediately.
Are you the man they call Chico?
Yes, come in. This is my friend, Boo.
How do you do?
Very pleased, I'm sure.
I'm Deanne's Aunt Valentine. The police called me when none of us arrested. She told me I'd find Deanne here, so I've come to get her.
To get her? But that's impossible. We're going to be married this morning.
Oh, no. Oh, perhaps you don't understand. She comes of a good family. Nana ran away with her several years ago, and we've been hunting for both girls ever since. The first clue we had was when this arrest came up. Oh, dear Anne, can't marry a street cleaner.
It's an honorable profession. I'm proud of it. And so is Deanne. She loves me.
If you love her, you'll send her with me. You've no right to keep her from a fine home where she'll have everything a girl could want. What can you offer her? This ugly hole?
You know, Chico, she has a point.
All right. All right, take her.
He loves her very much,
But
you know.
you must know I'm right.
Well, logic is on your side, but love is on his. We'll see.
Chico! Aunt Valentine. What are you doing here?
Why, my dear, how pretty you look. And what a nice dress.
Where's Chico?
He's gone, my dear. You're going home with me.
Oh, no, I can't. I'm going to marry Chico. Chico!
I'm here, Deanne.
Chico, please come back,
Oh,
Chico.
my dear girl, use your head. I'm offering you your old life, clothes and money and a good home.
But Aunt Valentine, Chico has offered me heaven.
What is it? What do you want, Deanne?
Oh, don't ever go away from me again like that. Don't ever let anyone do that to us. You and I belong together. I love you, Chico. With you, I can be poor and still have the whole world. And without you, I can be very rich and still have nothing.
Well, then, I guess that settles that, huh?
Yes, I guess it does. Goodbye, then. And I hope you'll both be very happy.
Deanne.
Oh, Boo, I've been so worried. What's happened? Where's Chico? You've been gone for hours.
Deanne, we're at war. war with Germany. The mailman was downstairs with orders for both of us when we got down.
Orders? War?
I got through before Chico, so he sent me back to tell you. He'll only have a few minutes, Deanne.
I can't believe it. Only a few hours ago, it was our world, Chico's and mine. And now it's been torn away from us. It isn't fair. It isn't fair.
No, Deanne, it isn't. Oh, that must be Chico. I'll go on over to Madame Charlot's across the roof. He'll want to see you alone.
Thank you for telling me.
Goodbye, Deanne.
Goodbye, Boole, and good luck.
Deanne?
I know, Chico. I know. Boole told me.
I don't want to leave you. But I haven't any choice. You know that, don't you?
I know that.
Perhaps it'd be best if you went to your aunt.
No. I want to stay here. I want to wait for you here. All the happiness I've ever known has been in this room. I want to stay here.
It's sort of hard to put into words, Deanne. But I want you to know that it's going to be a little easier because I have a reason for going. You. And all the dreams I've known because of you. Deanne, I'm not a very warlike man, and I'm not very keen on killing or being killed. But if that's what I have to do to keep you safe, that's what I'll do. I've learned a lot since I met you, Deanne.
So have I. You'll come back to me, Chico?
I'll come back to you, Deanne.
I wish there'd been time to be married. I wish I was really Madame Chico.
You are. In your heart and in mine. Look, here are the medals the priest gave me. We can marry ourselves with these. Give me your hand, Deanne. Now, say, I, Deanne, take thee, Chico.
I, Deanne, take thee, Chico, for my wedded husband, for now and forever, as long as we both shall live.
I, Chico, take thee, Deanne, for my wedded wife, for now and forever, as long as we both shall live. Well, Madame Chico, I guess that does it. And now, goodbye, my darling.
Oh, Chico!
Deanne, please don't cry. I don't want to remember you crying. You're so much prettier when you smile. Smile for me, Deanne. That's better.
I won't say goodbye. Just, I'll be waiting.
All right, darling.
Sometimes I guess you have to wait for heaven. You have to wait and pray and have faith. I know that such a very remarkable fellow will come back even more remarkable. And then we'll have our seventh heaven once again.
You have no doubt of that, do you?
Not a bit. Because heaven is a place that's ruled by God. And we'll be protected by him.
Then I'll be back.
Oh, Chico, soon? I pray it will be soon.
And so the Chicos and the Deannes wait for heaven now, with faith in their hearts, and fight for it with courage and determination. And every day brings it a little closer. Seventh heaven, as always, just around the corner. This is Frank Gallup, your host for the evening, ringing down the curtain on tonight's performance of Romance, a program produced each week by Columbia to bring you the great romantic plays and love stories of all time. Our story tonight was adapted for radio by Gene Holloway from the play Seventh Heaven by Austin Strong. Seventh Heaven was produced and directed by Mark Slobe, with music conducted by Ben Ludlow. The players included Joy Geffen as Deanne, Lamont Johnson as Chico, and Ralph Bell as Boole. Beginning next week, Romance will come to you at a new hour, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Wartime, when I'll be back with another great love story. And so, until next Tuesday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Wartime, this is Frank Gallup saying good night and wishing you love, happiness, and romance.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.